Hello everybody and welcome into Ray Fisher Stadium here in Ann Arbor on what has been a bit of a cloudy and rainy day thus far for WCBN Sports broadcast of Michigan baseball. I'm Austin Falco alongside Nick Hornberg, bringing you the action today, the second game of a very important three-game series between the Illinois Fighting Illini and the Michigan Wolverines.
Well, absolutely no doubt about that. Michigan coming in 31-15 on the season, 14-4 in conference, tied for first in the conference with the Minnesota Golden Gophers. The Illini, both teams are considered bubble teams for the NCAA tournament right now. Illinois a little bit behind the Wolverines, only sitting at 28-16, 12-7 in tournament. But of course, the Illini won the first leg of the series last night, 10-3. So obviously, this is very important for the Wolverines. Tournament hopes this season. They've had a great season so far. Of course, they won 20 straight, and even then they've managed to maintain a relatively strong level of play. But they're going to need to win more games. Their spot in the tournament absolutely not assured. They're going to need to win this series, win next week's series against Purdue, and do well in the tournament to really assure themselves a spot in the NCAA tournament.
As you mentioned, both teams bubble teams. Illinois took the first game of the series last night with a 10-3 win and thus have kept most of the lineup the same. The top six is the exact same. Zach Taylor, the center fielder, leads off. Shortstop Ben Troike bats second. In the three-hole, the star first baseman Brent Spillane. Michael Massey is the second baseman, bats fourth. Designated hitter Michael Mahalik bats fifth. Batting sixth, playing left field, is Doran Turchin. Right fielder Jack Yalowitz bats seventh. Batting eighth and playing third base is Grant Van Scoy. And rounding out the lineup, the catcher David Cran. They'll face the left-handed throwing freshman for the Wolverines, Ben Dragani. He comes in making his ninth start of the season. He's 6-0 with a 2.30 ERA. And his first pitch of the ball game to Zach Taylor is a bit high for ball one.
Well, Ben Dragani, really, I think, on this roster, really kind of an unheralded freshman relative to, of course, Jesse Franklin, who looks to be in line to win Big Ten Freshman of the Year, but Dragani himself has also had a fantastic debut season.
The 1-0 pitch also misses wide, brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes early on here against Zach Taylor. Taylor for Illinois comes in sporting a .228 average on the season. 2-0 pitch to him is on the knees on the inside corner for strike number 1.
That .228 average obviously isn't what you want to see in a leadoff hitter. Generally accepted leadoff hitters want to get on base. However, his on-base percentage relative to average is solid at .326, 98 points higher than average, and 10 for 13 stolen base attempts.
Takes a big swing and a miss there at the 2-1 pitch and evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Taylor coming off a 1-for-6 ball game yesterday in which he recorded a hat trick, 3 strikeouts in that one. One of few cogs in this Illinois lineup to have a bit of a down day. 2-2 pitch to him is swung on late and fouled off to the right side out of play. So we'll do it again at 2-2. Taylor, the junior transfer from the University of Houston, still has 1 more year of eligibility remaining after this one. 2-2 pitch to him. Again, swung on late and popped up behind the plate. That one will also get out of play and will remain at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This is one of the most important aspects of baseball that nobody talks about is pitch count, and that is even some of these weaker hitters in these lineups, such as Zach Taylor. You can still have successful at-bats without getting on base. Dragani, of course, is a freshman. You can ask questions about his stamina. If you get his pitch count up, you could chase him out of the game and take your chances against this Wolverines bullpen.
Another 2-2 pitch is a breaking ball that misses wide, and the count has run full. Eichmanns and Zach Taylor running the pitch count up here. Both pitchers in yesterday's ball games had high pitch counts, going over 20 pitch in the first inning. And Ben Dragani is on his way there again as he fires low for ball 4.
That isn't the start that Dragani was looking for here. Obviously, an 8-pitch walk, not what you want to see. And Dragani, 13 appearances, 62 innings. That's less than 5 innings an appearance. Granted, that should be taken of only 8 of those 13 were starts, but it's fair to ask the question: can he go into the game? Can he go long into this game with at bats like that?
Brings up the shortstop Ben Troike, who squares to bunt, tries to put down the third base line, but puts it 2 wide, so that'll go to foul ball and strike number 1.
I think that's probably going to be something that we're going to see a lot of today. Obviously, the weather conditions are poor. The rain is broken right now, but it's anticipated to rain really all throughout this game. I think you'll likely see a lot of small ball. Obviously, very hard to play defense in the rain, and the ball's not going to carry very far. You're going to see a lot of bunts, a lot of infield hits, and if I had to guess, a fair amount of stolen base attempts. What could make for an exciting, if a little bit sloppy game.
So yesterday the Wolverines commit 4 errors in the ball game. Illinois avoided any. As after a pickoff throw, Dragani comes to the plate, and that one is swung on, fouled back behind the plate. The count's 0-2. That right there, what you hear is a car alarm. That was a foul ball on a rope into the parking lot. Hit some poor car on right on the bumper. Troike, an interesting day in yesterday's ball game. Only 1 for 5, but was on base 5 times in the ball game. Pickoff throw chases Taylor back again. Reached twice on errors. Also recorded a walk in there and a strikeout, along with a fielder's choice. So one of the weirder stat lines you'll see when you get 1 for 5 and score 3 runs. As he takes the 0-2 pitch high with the fastball. Brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, it's a demonstration of what you can do playing against a team whose defense, at least yesterday in the case of Michigan's, was not the greatest. As you said, 4 errors. He reached on 2 of them. The defensive errors are gifts that you give to the other team that can, as you said, he scored 3 runs, have quite the impact.
Another pickoff throw from Dragani over to first base. Keeps Taylor close. Now he comes set and is ready for another 1-2 pitch to Troike. It's swung on late and hit high in the air towards right field. Bullock moving over towards the line. He makes the grab in medium depth right field for out number 1.
It was a little concerning at first. Looked like he could have gone foul, and eventually looked like he was going to slice, but that would have fallen fair. Good play. Good job by Bullock there. He was lined up relative middle of right field. Good for him to get over there in a short amount of time and record the out.
That will bring up the ever-dangerous Brent Spillane, who had himself a ball game yesterday. He's having himself a season in general. 3 for 4, 2 home runs and a double. Also walked, drove in 3, scored 3 runs of his own. He is a one-man wrecking crew, and he squares around a bunt here with the first pitch he sees from Dragani. Looked like he swung through it, but is ruled to have not done so and pulled back in time, according to first base umpire Doug Williams.
First impulse, you think that's a little bit strange. Obviously, he's hitting .428 with 20 home runs, but he's also 14-21 stolen bases in the season. Brent Spillane having an absolutely fantastic season. I think that's something the Pittsburgh Pirates, who drafted him 3 years ago now in the 34th round of the MLB draft, really should be looking at.
No doubt he has raised his draft stock since then. Potential Big Ten and National Player of the Year candidate, Brent Spillane. 2-0 pitch to him after the 1-0 missed outside. Also misses outside and runs the count to 3 balls, no strikes. And at this point, it might just be better to throw ball 4 and let him take his base with the damage he can do. .986 his slugging percentage, the highest. If he can keep that mark up, it would be the highest recorded by an NCAA player since 2002 when Ricky Weeks did it.
Yeah, the only problem...
a 3-0 pitch is in the zone, and a giant swing there from Spillane comes up empty.
The only thing is if you pitch around Spillane and walk him, Michael Massey is up next. Now, granted, Dragani has the platoon advantage against the left-handed batter Massey, but Massey is still hitting .331 and has 4 home runs. He's got a little pop and offered good protection to Spillane throughout the season.
Another big swing and a miss there. What looked to be a changeup out of the hand of Dragani, and runs the count full after falling behind 3-0.
And Brent Spillane, also co-leader of the Illini in walks with Doran Turchin, with 28 on the season.
Payoff pitch, runner moving on the pitch. It's fouled back behind the plate. So Taylor will return to his spot on first base and will try another 3-2 pitch.
Spillane, just looking at him, he is quite the impressive specimen, 6'5", 210. He's 20, 21 years old. He looks like a major leaguer.
Johnny comes set. Will not fire home those. He fires past first base. Franklin's got to chase it down, and Taylor will move up to second. Errant pickoff throw there. Looks like the Wolverines are already going to have one error on the ball game today here in the first inning.
Well, that didn't take long. Eric Bakich right now looks like he's getting a little bit of a taste of his own medicine. The Wolverines really all season, especially in their 20-game win streak, have used a lot of steals, fake steals, try to throw these pitchers off guard, get in their heads, and with obviously several pickoff throws already. Now it looks like the Illini are doing just that to this young freshman starter, Ben Dragani.
Now just what Illinois wants to see, a runner in scoring position for Brent Spillane. He's got a full count on him. Dragani checks the runner on second. Now comes with another full count pitch and swung on and missed for strike 3. Brent Spillane retired on strikes. Great job there by Ben Dragani to come back and record the strikeout.
Well, Ben Dragani demonstrating there that he is in fact talented. That 2.30 ERA is not a fluke. That was really a breaking ball straight to the center of the zone, broke down right at the last second. I don't want to say it looked more like a curveball than a split finger fastball, but it dropped quite quickly and Spillane couldn't hold up.
So now with 2 gone and a runner on second, that brings up Michael Massey, the second baseman. First pitch, the at-bat's a breaking ball. It catches the outside corner for strike number 1. Massey, as you mentioned, comes into this one sporting a .331 average, no slouch himself. Second on the Illini team in RBIs with 38.
Well, the Illini don't really have a 4-5-6 heart of the order, so to speak. Their strongest hitters are Troike, Spillane, and Massey. They're only plus 300 hitters. So in a way, that's favorable to Dragani. So once you get past these, if you get past these first 4 without giving up any runs, then the rest of the lineup is not quite as difficult to face.
Massey took the 0-1 pitch outside of the zone and now is ready for the 1-1 pitch from Dragani. It's on its way. Swung on and missed with the high fastball. Brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes on another dangerous hitter, Michael Massey. Massey in yesterday's ball game, 3 for 5, 3 RBIs on a couple of doubles himself.
Yeah, good job there by Dragani changing locations. Obviously, he got Spillane to strike out with that low breaking ball. Now this one with the high fastball. Massey saw that low pitch that struck out Spillane, and I think he may have been looking for it.
1-2 pitch, breaking ball, barely getting it off the end of the bat and staying alive is Massey. So the count remains 1-2.
Looks like it may have actually bounced off catcher Harrison Salter's shoulder there a little bit.
Salter takes a second to walk around, shake that one off while Dragani gets a new baseball out there. I imagine we'll see a fair amount of new baseballs being thrown back into play with the slick turf out there in this one.
Harrison Salter, of course, a last-minute addition to this lineup, replacing the original intended starter, Brock Keener, at behind the plate.
And Salter does a nice job there, blocking a breaking ball low and away in the dirt. Massey did not chase, so the count remains count moves rather to 2-2. 2-2, 2 outs, runner on second, and the second baseman Michael Massey at the plate.
There's a lot of 2s in that statement.
Dragani, number 2-1 on the mound. Comes set and fires, swing and a miss, strike 3 by Michael Massey. Dragani retires the last 2 batters of the inning on strikeouts and strands the leadoff runner Taylor on second base. So through an inning, or rather half an inning worth of play, score remains Illinois 0. Michigan coming up here in the bottom half.
Well, I got him there with the low fastball. Once again, excellent work there by Dragani. However, I suppose the one thing that is cause for concern, he did throw over 20 pitches in that inning, and that's something that head coach Eric Bakich is, of course, going to have to be vigilant with and watch out for. And it's something that they're going to have to look at his velocity, see if it dips later in the game, because once those even an extra couple pitches an inning, that adds up, and that's the difference between going 6 innings instead of 7, or more stark, going 4 or 5 instead of 5 or 6.
So the Wolverines, after getting out of that top half of the first without any damage, will send the following lineup to the plate in this ball game. Again, very similar to yesterday with just the one substitution behind the plate. Leading off, playing second base, is the normal leadoff man for Michigan, Akeo Thomas. Dominic Clementi is the designated hitter, batting second. In the 3-hole, the center fielder, Jonathan Engelman. Batting fourth, playing first base, is the freshman, Jesse Franklin. Following him up is fellow freshman, Jordan Wogu. He plays left field. Batting sixth, playing right field, is Christian Bullock. Blake Nelson, the third baseman, bats seventh. Behind the plate, Harrison Salter, he bats eighth. And rounding out the lineup, freshman shortstop, Jack Blomgren. They'll be going up against a left-hander for Illinois. Andy Fisher, the junior, making his 12th start of the season, is 4-2 with a 4.36 ERA on the year. In his 64 innings of work, he struck out 41, walked 33, and has a batting average against of just .281.
This is an interesting lineup development by the Wolverines here. Really rolled out this series. Christian Bullock, the regular two-hitter, has now been moved into the sixth, which to a certain degree makes sense. Dominic Clementi hitting .379, nearly 100 points higher than the .281 hitter Christian Bullock. However, Eric Bakich really this season has liked to use his base runners higher up in the lineup, and Bullock 17 for 21 stolen bases. They had an impressive top of the order with Thomas, Bullock, and Engelman all stealing bases at a very high quantity and a very high percentage.
First pitch from Fisher to Thomas was on the inside corner for a strike, but the second one misfired a bit low and in, so the count's evened up at 1-1. K.O. Thomas, a bit of a down year after being just about all Big Ten level last season. Takes the 1-1 pitch, low and in for a ball, 2-1. Really started off the season a pretty rough streak, has come around since returning to Ray Fisher Stadium. Still possesses a great eye as he watches one at the knees. Doesn't agree with the call, but doesn't matter as the count moves to 2-2.
Yeah, if I'm head coach Eric Bakich, I'm looking at Thomas' season so far. I'm not really too concerned. Obviously, he can come back another year, but he still leads the team in walks with 28. And just watching him over various games, he's still hitting the ball hard, which if he continues hitting the ball as hard as he has this season, then next season that average should improve to the mean, and his average should creep up over 300.
2-2 pitch is a breaking ball that misses outside, so the count's full, and now the payoff pitch. It's a little inside. Thomas hits it towards short. Going into the hole to make the play is Troike. Fires across the diamond to first in time. Great play there by the shortstop Troike, and a great pick on the other end by Spillane on the one-hop. Gets to K.O. Thomas to begin the bottom half of the first inning.
Yeah, I saw that excellently placed slap hit there, which Thomas is really his MO from the batter's box in his career, and I thought that was going to roll into left field. Excellent play there by Illini shortstop Troike, and once again, excellent throw and excellent stretch by Spillane to get that first out that I thought was a surefire infield single when I first saw it.
First lefty of the lineup for Michigan against the lefty Fisher is Dominic Clementi. He takes the first pitch fastball for a strike, 0-1. As you mentioned, Clementi coming into this one batting .379, did miss some time near the middle of the season. He chops one towards the middle. Second baseman Massey's over to make the play, throws over to first in time to record out number 2 and retire Clementi with relative ease.
On this turf, it can be, as we've seen many times this season, mostly by visiting teams. The turf here at Ray Fisher Stadium, players aren't really accustomed to playing on turf. Those high choppers can be very difficult to field when you don't have a read on how high the ball's going to bounce. But excellent play there by Massey to get that second out, and really with Fisher having a relatively Andy Fisher having a relatively middle of the road season. Very important for him and his confidence this game to work quick innings, especially at the start.
Also batting in the 3-hole like Illinois is Michigan's star junior hitter Jonathan Engelman. First pitch he sees missed low for a ball, 1-0. Had a rough day in yesterday's ball game, looking to rebound here. So the 1-0 pitch is also a bit low, maybe a bit inside as well, and the count's 2 balls and no strikes on Engelman.
Engelman, not dissimilar to Spillane, a very much an all-around player. 21 for 28 stolen bases, .367 average, 6 home runs, 42 RBIs.
He hits a high chopper to the left side that's just foul, but fielded by the third baseman Van Scoy just in case. Counts 2-1.
But as I was saying, very all-around player. Also, the only Michigan player this season to play in all 46 games. In fact, he's started in all 46 games. That's really a testament, really, to this, how sustainable his output has been this season, and really something to look forward to, especially coupled with his really so far quality defense in center field.
As you mentioned, did come off a rough day yesterday, 1 for 5. Took it to the ninth three-quarter hit. He takes a big swing and a miss at a breaking ball that almost hit him in the foot. The count's 2-2.
Engelman looked like he wanted to drive the yard on that one, aimed out for that left field wall, but it's one of those things that it's very hard to do. It almost looked like he decided he was going to swing at that one before the pitch came out of Fisher's hand, and that's something, as a baseball player, that's very difficult to avoid doing.
2-2, breaking ball called. Strike 3, Engelman knew it. Everyone's walking off the field as soon as that ball was caught. And the Wolverines go down 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the first. After one inning of play between Illinois and Michigan, the score still sits at 0-0. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Well, not quite the start there that the Wolverines wanted. Obviously, a quick 1-2-3 inning. I believe that was only 11 or 12 pitches thrown by starting pitcher Andy Fisher for the Illini, and now Dragani, with not a lot of time to sit down, has to come back up. He threw 26 pitches last inning, to be more specific. Now, granted, the Illini lineup after Michael Massey isn't quite as intimidating as what comes before, but however, Dragani's really going to need a quick inning. Optimally, a quicker inning that leaves him at the end of 2 innings having thrown less than 40 pitches.
Dragani coming in at 26 after that first inning. We'll face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the Illinois order to start things off here in the second. Michael Mahalik, Doran Turchin, and Jack Yalowitz. Did mention that the bottom half of the order not quite as intimidating as the top half for Illinois, but they've still got guys that can do that damage. Notably, the second hitter up, Doran Turchin, had himself a nice ball game yesterday. 3 for 5, 2 RBIs of his own, including a couple doubles.
Doran Turchin also has a 278 average against a 385 on-base percentage. Really a player they're going to have to watch out for, really. I think the strategy there with him, of course, looking at his high walk rate and his relatively median batting average, for lack of a better term, is really just pitch at him, pitch at these hitters. Don't get cute. Don't play around with them, and try to get them out in short order.
Before we get to the aforementioned Turchin, it'll be Michael Mahalik leading things off in the inning against Dragani. First pitch fastball misses off the inside corner for ball number 1. Mahalik coming into this one batting .277, sports a .374 on base percentage though. It's the 1-0 pitch, misses high and away for ball 2. Not a ton of pop in the bat of Mahalik, not especially common for a DH. Only 7 extra base hits on the year, all of them doubles. It's the 2-0 pitch, also misses high and away for ball 3.
Yep, as you said, Michael Mahalik has yet to hit a home run all season. Only has 15 RBIs. However, he does have 16 walks against 21 strikeouts.
You can make that 17 walks, as that one missed high and away by a fair margin. And for a second straight inning, Ben Dragani issues a leadoff walk.
Well, that certainly isn't something you want there. Obviously, we've all seen the statistics. The probability of giving up a run when you allow the first base runner is in an inning is substantially higher than if you get the first one out, and that's something they're going to need to watch with, and really I think that's something Ben Dragani's going to need to work on the rest of the season and later in his Michigan career.
Doran Turchin squares around on the first pitch, but pulls back and takes strike number 1 from Dragani.
Illini so far looking eager to bunt, which I said, as I said, with the weather, isn't a bad strategy at all. The
second pitch at bat is swung on late and skied high towards right field. Bullock chasing over near the bullpen, trying to make the grab. He reaches into the bullpen and makes the grab, going over to the wall. Tagging up on the play is Mahalik, but what a play there by Christian Bullock to even record that out, and that one looked like it hurt.
Well, that was actually quite impressive. Bullock sprinting all the way over. At first I thought that was going to go into the bullpen. He wasn't going to get it. Leaned over the wall. Actually kind of reminded me of a play 5 years ago, Torrey Hunter jumping over a wall for the Detroit Tigers and falling into the bullpen, trying to make a catch. But ultimately, thankfully, he didn't have to go all the way over. But excellent play right there, and actually good awareness there by Michael Mahalik to tag up and go over to second base and not waste that out.
It did help for Mahalik that ball was in foul territory, so there was no way he was going to have to run if it wasn't caught. But still, a absolutely fantastic play by Bullock and a heads-up base running play by Mahalik, as you mentioned, and he's got himself in scoring position for Jack Yalowitz. Yalowitz, the left-handed hitting right fielder, takes a breaking ball strike to begin the at-bat from Dragani. Mahalik, not the fleetest of foot out there on second, but is efficient when he decides to run 3 for 3 on the season in stolen base time. So I don't expect him to run here, but very easily could be scoring on a single. Another breaking ball from Dragani catches the outside corner and brings the count to no balls and 2 strikes on Yalowitz.
And that's important, obviously. First pitch strikes, really to at least to working quick innings, are key. And key to getting batters out. Once you get ahead in the count, the hitter's options are limited. And now with 0-2, they're even more limited.
The 0-2 pitch, fastball swung on late, foul off to the left side, out of play. So Yalowitz stays alive at 0-2. I mentioned Dragani started off with the double breaking balls here to Yalowitz. Tried to blow him away with the fastball. Did get a late swing, but wasn't quite able to retire Yalowitz just yet. Sleedy goes back to here with another 0-2. Checks the runner on second. Mahalik now comes with it. Breaking ball grounded towards second. Akela Thomas makes the play, raging towards the second base bag and throws over to first for out number 2.
Yeah, that's a routine ground ball right there. And another productive out by the Illini. And now Mahalik finds himself at third base with Grant Van Scoy, the third baseman, coming up.
Van Scoy, the right-handed hitting third baseman here for the Illini. Open stance in that right-handed batter's box. First pitch he sees from Dragani is a fastball that bounces in the dirt and is stopped by Salter, but goes down as ball number 1. Runner on third with 2 outs, much less dangerous than runner on third and less than 2 outs, so it's a big ground out there. Recorded by Dragani. 1-0 pitch on the inside corner for strike 1.
And I don't know if they're trying to get into Ben Dragani's head, but Mahalik there looked like he was about ready to run for home, but almost looked like he thought there was a hit and run or a safety squeeze. But
ugly swing there on the 1-1 pitch from Van Scoy. He looked like he went about halfway and realized he should stop swinging, but just couldn't. So it'll go down as strike number 2. 1-2 pitch now. About to be on the way from Dragani. He's already got 2 strikeouts on the day. Looking to record his third and get out of the inning. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off to the right side. Fastball right off the end of the bat there of Van Scoy. Keeps him alive in the count.
Once again, it persists. Still excellent job by the Illini hitters here, even the ones who aren't the strongest. Getting Dragani's pitch count up, forcing him to throw to them, continuously fouling balls off. Obviously, it's very frustrating for a pitcher if you throw lots of pitches to one batter and you still can't get him out. A very hopeless feeling can set in, and that, especially if the young freshman like Dragani can have quite the effect. But good effort by the Illini hitters really to even get to that stage.
1-2 fastball missed low and evens the count at 2-2. And now Dragani's ready for the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball hit high in the air and deep towards left field. Ranging back at the track at the wall is Wogu. That ball is gone. 2-run home run. Grant Van Scoy, his first of the season, puts the Illini out in front here in the second inning by a score of 2-0.
Well, Dragani hung that pitch a little bit high, and Van Scoy took absolute full advantage of that over the wall in left field. I believe right over the retired number 11 of Bill Freehan. And the Illini now take a 2-0 lead against Dragani, who really, I'd say, these last few starts haven't been in line with the way that he started this season. Still, obviously, a strong pitcher, but now he has to be a little bit rattled, having given up 2 runs now, 2 runs with 2 outs. His pitch count is up at 42, and we'll see how he adjusts here.
Catcher David Cran is up next. He waves and misses on a bunt attempt at the first pitch for strike 1. Dragani not able to work back from the windup with no runners on after the homer. 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses inside now on Cran. 1-1. Cran, like his fellow catcher for the Wolverines, Salter, a late addition to the lineup. 1-1 pitch. Line towards right field, ranging over into the right center field gap is Bullock, though, and he puts it away for out number 3, but not before the Illini do some damage and hop out in front here. 2-run home run for Grant Van Scoy has the Illini up by a score of 2-0 through 1.5 innings worth of play here at Ray Fisher Stadium. You are listening to the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports. I'm Austin Falco alongside Nick Hornberg, bringing you the action for today's ball game on Mother's Day weekend and Bark in the Park Day here at Ray Fisher.
It's another good defensive play there by Bullock to end the inning. Last time he obviously ran over to the other side, had to reach over the bullpen wall to make what is in hindsight a fantastic grab. This time he went the other way towards center field, waved off Jonathan Engelman, and was able to go up and grab that ball, leave no doubts, and really he's doing what he's got to do out there in right field. Unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot left fielder Jordan Wogu could have done with that high arcing foul ball or home run ball that may have even made it into the softball stadium over out in deep left center.
Yeah, as you mentioned, just pretty much a no-doubter there. The only question was whether it was going to be able to clear the high wall in left field. It certainly had enough distance there off the bat of Van Scoy, and Jordan Wogu, nothing he could do, as you mentioned there. But going back to the pitch from Dragani on that one, and it was, as you mentioned briefly, a high breaking ball that just stayed right over the middle of the plate. And anytime you do that, especially against a lineup like Illinois, where top to bottom, they can hit the ball hard. They'll stay around in counts that they've already demonstrated several times in the ball game today. You can't mess around. You cannot leave pitches up like that.
Well, it's one of those things. If you have a hitter as good as Brent Spillane in your lineup, and obviously even though there are other excellent hitters, Ben Troike and Michael Massey, to name a few, there's such a disparity between one hitter and the rest. Sometimes you tend to get complacent when you're facing other big hitters. That's why, really, if you have one all-star caliber hitter in your lineup, that actually is not just good for your team and their output, that's actually generally good for your other hitters. Sometimes pitchers can get complacent and hang pitches like that.
One hitter that's done a fair amount of damage this year for the Wolverine lineup is Jesse Franklin. The first pitch of the at-bat is swung on and missed here against Andy Fisher, though. Franklin, the freshman, really playing on another level since Big Ten play began. He's got his season stats up to .326 in the average department and leads the Wolverines in home runs with 9, RBIs with 45. Takes a breaking ball on the 0-1 pitch for strike number 2.
Well, generally the Wolverines, as you said, because he leads the team with 9, not a whole lot of power really up and down this lineup, especially not to compete with Brent Spillane and the Illini hitting 20 by himself. And that's something I think Franklin, as I said, he should probably win Big Ten Freshman of the Year, but that's something, if he really wants to develop his game and really be a force in college baseball in the future, I think maybe one thing he should work on is his power a little bit.
After watching a breaking ball miss low and away, Franklin waves and misses at a breaking ball for strike number 3, so he's set down quickly. Second strikeout of the game, second straight strikeout for Andy Fisher. Now bring up left fielder Jordan Wogu.
Jordan Wogu, really the highest average hitter for the Wolverines, hitting .396. Another good all-around player, good defense in left field, 10 for 12 stolen bases, hitting 5 home runs, 26 RBIs.
First pitch the at-bat to Wogu is bounced in there with the fastball for ball number 1. We did see a Wogu jersey around here, so I speculated probably the younger sibling of Mr. Jordan Wogu. He's a local Ann Arbor product. He gets one on the hands there and grounds it towards second. Massey makes the play easily and fires over to first for the second out.
Well, obviously that pitch was inside of hands. Actually a little impressive and demonstration of his strength as a player that he was able to pull that a little bit towards to the right side of second base, and it was hit relatively hard, unfortunately, right to Michael Massey at second base, so there isn't really a whole lot you can do there.
That'll bring up the right fielder, Christian Bullock. Left-handed hitting sophomore, takes a fastball for strike number 1 on the inside corner. Bullock, previously the 2-hitter in this Michigan order for much of the season, has batted down here in the 6 hole for the past couple of ball games, and he takes the 0-1 pitch. Another fastball strike over the heart of the plate.
Bullock, only a .281 hitter, however, 17 for 21 stolen bases.
Tries to go back to the fastball here, does Andy Fisher, but misses a bit high, a bit away on the chase pitch, and count goes to 1-2.
One thing that has been noticed by about Bullock by me and some other people here at WCBN is that his average may not be one of the highest on the team. However, certainly a hitter that tends to rise to the occasion.
Breaking ball, check swing, ruled he went around. Did Christian Bullock, going to home plate umpire Mike Morris, and that will do it for the Wolverines here in the second. Andy Fisher records 2 strikeouts in that inning in order to bring his game total to 3 overall, and a 1-2-3 inning for the second straight inning. Keeps the score at 2-0 in favor of the Illinois Fighting Illini. You're listening to the official student radio broadcast from Michigan Baseball here on WCBN Sports.
Well, personally, I don't think Bullock went around right there, but that's another a little bit of another sloppy inning at the plate for the Wolverines there, and they've started this game very slowly in a little bit of a rut, and that's something I think they'll need to come out of fairly quickly, because as we saw yesterday, the Illini winning 10-3. When it rains, it pours with them, and with the hitters at the top of their order, they can really pour on runs. And if you fall behind, you're not going to be able to catch up.
I don't know, it might be a little bit dangerous to talk about raining and pouring here, given the weather over the past couple of days. I don't want to jinx anything right now. No rain coming down at Ray Fisher. That's not a thing we could say during yesterday's ball game. Is pretty much the entire time there was some level of rain. For the most part, it was a steady but not unbearable rain, aside from a couple brief spats of some heavier stuff coming down and a couple brief spats of it going to a drizzle.
That's something that really this baseball season across all levels, college, professional, even all the way up to the major leagues, the amount of problems caused by weather has really been unprecedented. Now, of course, part of that is Major League Baseball starting 2 weeks earlier, but it's something that is really unfortunate. Has really hit this Wolverines team hard. Obviously, we've had a fair number of games here at Ray Fisher delayed and postponed, but
leading off the inning was the leadoff hitter, Zach Taylor. He hit a fly ball over to left field that was handled easily by Wogu in front of the track for a quick out number 1 here in the 3rd inning.
We don't have a gun here at Ray Fisher Stadium. I actually thought that came off Taylor's bat faster than Van Scoy's home run, so I was a little concerned. However, didn't quite get the height or the distance, and in the end, a routine fly ball around the warning track for Jordan Wogu.
Looks like Taylor got it a little in on the hands here, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Ben Troike, who takes the first pitch high and away for ball 1. Giuliani working quickly now, holds the glove out in front of his chest, gets the sign from the catcher, Harrison Salter. Now winds up in the 1-0. Fastball swung on and missed from Troike, brings the count to 1-1. Troike 0 for 1 of the ball game today, flew out to right field back in the first. A high fly ball. It looked like it was going to tail foul, but was ultimately handled by Bullock out there. 1-1 pitch is scalded on a line drive into left field for a base hit. Wogu has a little bit of trouble fielding it, so Troike's going to try for second. He slides in just ahead of the tag from Makeo Thomas. Should probably be error number 2 out there on the Wolverines. Single and error, allowing Troike to advance.
I agree with you there on the error. Jordan Wogu really misplayed that ball. However, he did demonstrate that throw to second base. He still has a very strong arm. Actually, nearly beat Nearly beat Troike on the throw there. But nonetheless, the Illini have yet another runner in scoring position for the third inning in a row.
As you mentioned, runner in scoring position, only one out, and Brent Spillane at the plate. The exact same situation the Illini had back in the first inning. Spillane went down on strikes in that one after being up in the count 3-0. He starts up in the count 1-0 here as the fastball from Dragani missed low. Spillane leading the Illini with 55 RBIs after his 3 yesterday. Took a big swing and a miss there at the 1-0 pitch and came up empty. The count's 1-1.
Spillane so far this game looked quite aggressive with the swing. Looks like he's consciously hitting for power as opposed to average. And so that makes sense. I think really his batting stats with the relatively minimal arm movement actually to a certain extent reminds me a little bit of Prince Fielder. Of course, Spillane much taller and leaner than Prince. However, the power is there.
Also has a keen eye to go along with it as he watches a fastball miss high and away for ball 2. Ken Spillane, just a physical presence. Every swing he takes, you can almost feel all of that power that he has. Every swing looks like it could go for a home run. As a changeup, it looked like just missed off the inside corner and runs the count to 3 balls, 1 strike.
Well, baseball, I would say, really with the high number of games they play, when you get hot, it's very easy to get really hot because you don't really have a whole lot of time to cool off, so to speak. And really, with the high number of games, even if you have a couple games where you do really well, you can carry that over with the constant activity for a long time, and that's really what Spillane has done. He's hit a fair amount of home runs now. He's really feeling it.
And a hitter's count 3-1. He thinks about swinging, but takes the pitch low and inside for ball number 4. The Illini have a couple runners on, with only 1 gone for the cleanup hitter, Michael Massey.
Well, as much as I hate to say it, as I hate it when my baseball teams give free passes, walking Spillane right there may not have been the worst thing in the world for Ben Dragani. Already given up 1 home run. Very easily could have been 4-0 if that pitch is right down the middle.
Also sets up a potential double play ball with runners on first and second. As Massey swings and fouls one off the glove of Salter for strike 1. Massey 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout back in the first inning against Dragani. Dragani has the lefty-lefty advantage here against the second baseman for the Illini, but is standing well over to the third base side of the rubber, somewhat mitigating that. 0-1 pitch. Pounds the outside corner with a fastball, and Massey swung on it and missed. Counts 0-2.
And that's exactly what Dragani needs to do more often right there. Get out ahead in counts. 0-1, 0-2, obviously now 0-2, very important. But that's something you have to do as a pitcher. You have to keep your pitch count down, and you have to assure these hitters that if a pitch is coming, it is going to be in the zone.
0-2 pitch swung on and missed on the high fastball. Massey goes down on strikes for the second time in the ball game today, and there's now 2 gone in the inning here, bringing up Michael Mahalik.
Another good job there by Dragani, changing locations. Obviously 0-1 and 0-2 were both lower in the zone. Then there's that high fastball. Looks like Massey was expecting it lower. As a result, swung onto the ball, tipped it right into Harrison Salter's glove.
Mahalik now steps up to the plate. He walked on 4 pitches last inning in the second, came around to score on the Grant Van Scoy 2-run bomb. First pitch of this at-bat is in there for a strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
And point of information, they have declared that Troike hit a single earlier in this inning and reached on an E7 by Jordan Wogu.
Dragani comes set now, checks the runner Troike at second. Now the 0-1 pitch. High fastball, misses for ball 1. Dragani really laboring here. This next pitch will be pitch number 60 on the ball game for him today. We're just in the top of the third inning. Eric Bakich had to dig a little bit into his bullpen yesterday with Jack Weisenberger and Troy Miller used. Ball in the dirt, check swing. Throw down to first was not in time to get Spillane on the back check. And now they appeal down to first base for the check swing there. Ruled he did not go around by first base umpire Doug Williams. So the count's 2-1 and the batters remain, or runners rather, remain on first and second. The throw from Salter wasn't quite as high to Franklin on there at first. Might have had a shot at Spillane on the back pick, but just wasn't quite accurate enough. 2-1 pitch from Dragani. Misses high for ball 3 to Mahalik, though.
Honestly, I think at this point now, up and over 60 pitches in the third inning, I think it's fair to say at this point, if you're Dragani, your job is really damage control. At this point, maintain having only 2 runs on the board for the Illini for the bullpen. Very likely this next fourth inning could very well be his last.
3-1 pitch, breaking ball. Swung on and hit high in the air to center. Engelman ranging over a bit towards right center. Makes the grab without any problems at all for out number 3. So despite a couple runners on, Dragani strands them both and gets out of the inning, not allowing any runs for the Illini through 2.5. The score remains Illinois 2, Michigan 0. Here on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Austin Falco alongside Nick Hornberg bringing you the Saturday action for this one. Michigan wearing their normal Saturday uniforms, the white bottoms, blue tops, maize lettering and numbers. Michigan sprawled across the chest with the number down to the bottom right-hand side if you're looking at it from our vantage point. Big numbers on the back, white piping on those and white stripes on the sleeves. Blue caps, maize M.
Yeah, this is where Eric Bakich's man management is going to be tested a little bit. Looks like nobody's up in the bullpen. There's not even a catcher out there. And this is really where Bakich really has to work with Ben Dragani. If it's not him, it's pitching coach Chris Fetter. Has to work with him, talk to him, calm him down. Obviously, he's a younger player. He's probably going to be a fair bit rattled right now. Obviously, I think we saw that in him walking to the dugout after this inning. That's something that they're going to have to work on, get his confidence back up a little bit, reassure him, send him out into that fourth inning, and hopefully get his first strong inning of the game.
They don't expect head coach Eric Bakich to go to that bullpen until Dragani gets about 40 more pitches into this start. At this point, the freshman has really proven that he has a leash long enough to go that far into the ball game, as long as he's not getting absolutely blown up. And we're ready to resume action here in the bottom of the third. Andy Fisher pitching to Blake Nelson, third baseman for Michigan. Fires the first pitch, fastball outside for ball 1. Illinois, like Michigan in the white bottoms, they do have bright orange tops, though, white letters and numbers, Illinois across the chest. It's the 1-0 pitch is on the inside corner for a strike, 1-1. Again, white letters and numbers, blue piping on those. The blue hats with the orange brims and the orange eye across the front. 1-1 pitch to Nelson, swung on, big swing there. And might have gotten a piece of it, fouled it off, but the count's 1-2 regardless.
I think what you're talking about with the uniforms here is something that baseball presents that other sports, especially at the professional level and at the collegiate level as well, have some difficulty presenting. Is 2 teams wearing their solid colors actually makes for quite a good look there.
1-2 pitch is fouled back off the catcher there, Cran. He's going to take a second to shake that one off, and we'll come back with another 2-2 in just a second. As you mentioned, I do like the color-on-color look. It does look very nice, very sharp for both teams. 1-2 pitch, fastball off the outside corner, ball number 2. Fisher comes set, slightly offset towards first base. Gets his sign with a glove in front of his face. Winds up and a 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball called. Strike 3 on the outside corner.
Oh, I don't know. That one looked a little bit outside to me. That may have to a certain extent been dictated a little bit by Blake Nelson's batting stance. He leans right at the line over the plate, and almost it looks like his hands are over the plate as the pitch comes in. Obviously, it's not surprising there if home plate umpire Mike Morris moves the strike zone out a little bit to accommodate that.
I'll bring up Harrison Salter, who chops one foul to the right side. That's 4 strikeouts on the early going here for Fisher. Not really a huge strikeout guy, more of a contact pitcher, just as Quinn Snarskis yesterday. Not quite as extreme as Quinn Snarskis for Illinois, who barely walks or strikes out anyone and gets tons of ground balls, but still, Illinois, a pitching staff, people that pitch to contact. This one's chopped towards the middle. Troike makes the play near the second base bag and throws on to first in plenty of time to retire the catcher Salter. 2 gone in the inning now.
Well, the first at bat of this inning was Blake Nelson. Really did something that I think no Michigan hitter has really done so far this game, and that is get his pitch count. Obviously, he worked the count to 2-2. That's something that really Wolverines hitters should be looking to do more because Andy Fisher, not the greatest walk-strikeout ratio. Obviously, doesn't strike a lot of people out, but he has 33 walks on the season.
First pitch chopper here from Blomgren to third base. Van Scoy makes the play, leaping, and fires on the run over to first to retire Blomgren on just 1 pitch. So just as you were talking about working the count, Blomgren swings the first pitch and makes an out. Wolverines go down 1-2-3 yet again here in the third for the 3rd straight inning. So through 3, Illinois leads by a score of 2-0. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Well, it may sound a little bit counterintuitive, but the less a pitcher pitches, the better the less a starting pitcher pitches, the better he is. Now, through 3 innings of work, Andy Fisher, starter for the Illini, has thrown 32 pitches. Ben Dragani has thrown 62. And that's really been the difference in this game. Fisher's really worked quick innings that really stand in stark contrast to his walk numbers and to a certain extent his ERA, even though he's demonstrated himself really to be a serviceable starting pitcher throughout his career at Illinois. And it's something that, if everything holds, should be the story of this game right now, is how efficient Andy Fisher has been working through these Michigan hitters and how much trouble Ben Dragani has had finishing off hitters.
Andy Fisher is picking up right where his starter from yesterday, Quinn Snarskis, left off. Snarskis, through the first couple innings, did have his pitch count up a bit. Through the last 4, though, he ended up going 6 innings total. Was extremely efficient, threw about less than 40 pitches over those last 4, including 1 4-pitch inning in that one to close things out in his day. But very efficient, throwing strikes, making the Wolverine hitters swing early and capitalizing on some young aggressiveness, perhaps, out of a young Wolverine lineup.
Yeah, I think that's something that Wolverines really all season, their season identity really has been defined by aggression on the base paths, in the batter's box. That isn't something that you can just flip a switch and change, so I think this is the downside to all of that. But however, I wouldn't complain too loudly. That's what fired them to really this record now, tied for first in the Big Ten towards the end of the season with a team that is largely consisting of underclassmen.
First pitch breaking ball from Dragani missed off the plate inside, I believe, to Doran Turchin, and the second pitch, a fastball missing just low, has the count 2-0. Didn't miss by much on those last 2 pitches for Dragani, so perhaps reining in the command just a bit here. 2-0 pitch on its way is a fastball at the belt over the heart of the plate. Counts 2-1. Turchin 0 for 1 in this one. Foul out to Christian Bullock, who made that great play reaching over the bullpen wall back in the first, or rather back in the second inning, as the 2-1 pitch misses low and in the dirt for ball number 3. Dragani working quickly, winds up 3-1 pitch, grounded hard towards short. Blomgren makes the play on the backhand, throws all the way over to first, and off the base was Franklin as he made the pick over at first base.
That's a tough break there for the Wolverines. Jack Blomgren, one would argue the best defensive player in the Wolverines team right now, perhaps with the exception of full-time defensive sub Joe Pace. And excellent play right there. Excellent to go range over, get that ball, but unfortunately throws a little off target, and Jesse Franklin could not stretch.
That will go down as an infield single there for Doran Turchin. And for the third straight inning now, or rather 3 out of 4 innings, the Illini have the leadoff runner on. Jack Yalowitz now comes up, squares around to bunt, and pulls back for strike number 1, though.
Once again, not a bad strategy to bunt right there. Get more runners on base and see what you can do.
Before the 0-1 pitch, pickoff throw from Dragani chases Turchin back. Turchin, a threat to steal, 11 for 13 this far on stolen bases. Takes a healthy lead, a healthy secondary lead, and the breaking ball is taken for strike number 2 to Jack Yalowitz. Dragani looks in for the sign, holding that ball behind his back. Now comes set, ball right about at his stomach. Fires a pickoff throw. Turchin back standing again. There is a bit of a breeze, not too strong, maybe about 5 miles an hour, on and off, blowing out towards left to left center. But still no rain since we've started, knock on wood. The 0-2 pitch is swung on off the end of the bat, hit towards left field. Ranging in is Wogu. Ranging out is Blomgren. Blomgren tries to dive, and it lands in fair territory. He gets past him. That's going to go down as a double there. We lost sight of the ball for a split second in that left field corner, but Blomgren was able to chase it down and fire in to prevent Turchin from scoring all the way from first. As it stands, though, a little blue double on that left field line for Jack Yalowitz, and Illinois is in business now.
Something to follow here. I think Blomgren looks like he may have been a little bit shaken up. When he went for that ball, may have crashed into the wall. But as far as that play goes, there's 3 players going for that ball. Very hard to sort out. If anything, I think maybe I put responsibility for that on Jordan Wogu. I think as the outfielder, as it is in the outfield, granted shallow, but still there, I think it's really his responsibility to wave off Blake Nelson and Jack Blomgren. And I think to a certain extent, I mean, you realize Blomgren was the closest to catching that ball, and he basically ran from what was essentially second base all the way over to grab that ball. I think I think it's really Wogu's responsibility there to wave him off, and I think that double's really on him.
Infield comes in now against Grant Van Scoy, who takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Yeah, as you mentioned, Wogu had a ways to travel on that one, but it certainly hung up long enough where you'd expect him to at least come closer to Blomgren to catch that ball. It was a little beyond the little corner of where the bullpen juts out into the field here at Ray Fisher Stadium. 1-0 pitch on the outside corner for a strike, 1-1 to Van Scoy.
Well, the position of that ball, obviously Michigan's outfield rarely shifts. Wogu, I think really the only decision that should be made there is Wogu going to lay out for that ball, which I think without the 2 players in front of him, he very well could have, or if not reached it initially, or just take the one hopper and allow the single and hold the runner. But unfortunately, I think he kind of punted on that decision, and the result is what it is.
1-1 pitch is spiked in front of the plate, but a nice stop by Salter prevents another run from scoring. Count moves to 2-1 on Van Scoy. Runners on second and third now. Nobody out in the inning. Illinois with a chance to tack on some more to that 2-0 lead. That 2-0 lead is courtesy of the man at the plate right now, Grant Van Scoy. Hit a 2-run home run over the left field wall back in the second. This time he lines one past the leaping Akeo Thomas into center field. Engelman's going to field it and fire towards home, but going to be cut off as 2 runs come across to score. 2 more RBIs for Grant Van Scoy. It's Grant Van Scoy 4, Michigan nothing.
Well, that was on a rope right there. Good effort by Akeo Thomas, but I think this is really one case where his lack of size, I believe, is the smallest player on this Wolverine in the team today, where really that hurts him, and it's unfortunate to see. A good effort there to go up for that ball, got right past him, and now 2 more runs on the board.
So Van Scoy is now over there at first, having driven in 4 runs in the ball game and giving Illinois a 4-0 lead. Brings up the catcher and 9 hitter David Cran. Cran 0 for 1 with a line out into right center field, his first at bat. Squares on the bunt here, bunts it towards first base. Dragani's got the field, try to barehand flip, and it just not get enough on it. It skips past Franklin, moving all the way to third is Van Scoy, as Akeo Thomas has to go chase it down. And just about everything going wrong here for the Wolverines now.
Well, to be fair, that was an excellently placed bunt there by David Cran. It's not very often you see a catcher bunt, but excellently placed. And I think the throw right there, or lack thereof, is really more just a roll. I think that's really a consequence of Ben Dragani just having given up 2 on the previous pitch. I think it's really, I think at this point, his confidence is very low. And looks like they're Chris Fetter going out to talk to him.
Chris Fetter trying to work his magic, talking to the young freshman, Ben Dragani. Really letting things unravel. His second error of the day. He threw away a pickoff throw back in the first. And as you mentioned on this one, trying to make the play on the bunt. Had plenty of time with the bit of a slower runner there in Cran, but rolled it right past Jesse Franklin. Franklin had no chance to even try to scoop that ball because of the incoming runner.
I think Dragani at that point, he had no confidence in his arm. I think that's really a consequence of what's going on between his ears. Nothing physically wrong with him.
Runners at the corners now, still nobody away here in the 4th. Back to the top of the Illinois order here, and Zach Taylor takes the first pitch outside for a ball, 1-0.
They're in an extremely dangerous situation right now. Obviously, 2 runners in scoring position, runners on the corners, and Zach Taylor's up top of the order's coming back up. Now, assuming no double plays, he could. Well,
this one won't be a double play. It's popped up behind the plate. Salter looks like he has a beat on it. He makes the grab just in foul territory for out number 1.
Well, the problem is now, even with 1 out, which is a good recovery. However, now Troike is up. Even if he fans Troike, and if Troike doesn't ground it in a double play, Brent Spillane is coming back up again. You know, I think by the end of the game, listeners are going to get tired of us talking about him. But you know, he's really, I'd say one of the most, if not the most dangerous hitter Michigan has faced this season. And right now, there's a runner on third base coming up for him.
Spillane out there on the on-deck circle. He'll get his chance, presumably. But before him, Ben Troike, shortstop, takes his spot at the plate and takes a breaking ball off the plate in for ball 1. Troike 1 for 2 in the ball game. Singled and flown out to right field in this one. 1-0 pitch. Swung on and fouled off the right side into the parking lot.
The pole right there, the bullpen holding up a line that holds up the net behind home plate, just saved somebody's car. Bounced right there, bounced right on the pavement, right in front of the row of parked cars.
Close call there, and the count's 0-1 on Troike. Running on the pitch is the runner at first, Cran, but it's fouled off towards the right side near the Illinois dugout. So he'll retreat back to first, and the count's 1-2.
That's I can't really blame him for that. I know you're up 4-0 and maybe considered rubbing it in a little bit to run, but I can totally understand your pitcher on the mound. His confidence is rattled. I would absolutely run, get in his head, see if he can hang a pitch for Troike right here.
Ground ball, diving stop by Nelson at third. He goes to second for 1. Relay throw to first. In time, double play.
Hey, and I said Spillane would come up with a runner on third unless Troike grounds into a double play, and he did just that. Excellent recovery there after giving up 2 more runs in this inning. But really excellent job there by first Blomgren, then Akeo Thomas, and then Jesse Franklin to really minimize the damage to the extent that they could.
And really, if you're Troike, you just hit the ball too hard there. hit a sharp ground ball. Blake Nelson at third made a nice play, sliding, half of a slide, half of a dive, really went down to his hands and knees, moving over towards his left. Made the throw from a knee over to K.O. Thomas at second, who made a strong and accurate turn to get him to retire Troike at first. Nice job by Franklin there to stretch and get every piece of his 6'2" body involved in that one. The Illini do score 2 more runs, though, on a 2-run single from Grant Van Scoy. He's got all 4 RBIs for them on the day. So after 3.5 innings worth of play, we head to the bottom of the 4th, Illinois leading by a score of 4-0 over the Michigan Wolverines here on the official student radio broadcast for Michigan Wolverines baseball, WCBN Sports.
Yes, and another point of information, Cran's reaching on a bunt is going to go down as an E1 on Ben Dragani with that rough throw right there, and really, I think to a certain extent an unfortunate turn for Cran, because I think that was an excellent bunt. However, he would have been out had that throw been on target. So the Wolverines now, after committing 4 last night, through 4 innings of playing defense, have committed 3 errors.
So Wolverines defense not really showing up too kindly in this one, and neither is their offense. They've been retired in order in each of the first 3 innings. Nothing to show for it. 0 base runners. So they'll try again their second time through the lineup, starting with the leadoff hitter, K.O. Thomas. Andy Fisher winds up, and the first pitch to Thomas in this at-bat is a fastball strike. Thomas grounded out to short to begin things for the Wolverines. It was a great play in the hole made by Troike to retire the speedy K.O. Thomas. And on the 0-1, a breaking ball is in the strike zone as well, and it's 0-2. Fisher working quickly and throwing plenty of strikes. He's already ready for the 0-2 pitch. He winds up, and it's on its way. Fouled off on the fastball. Right side there. Count remains 0-2.
I don't hear any car alarms, so if you're parked at Ray Fisher Stadium, your car is safe for now.
Didn't hear any thuds. So another 0-2 pitch is bounced towards second. Massey makes the play, ranging near the second base bag, throws on the run to retire Thomas at first. 1 gone here in the 4th. Next up is Dominic Clementi. Clementi, the left-handed hitting designated hitter for the Wolverines, is 0 for 1 with a ground out to second base on the day. You'll notice a trend coming as we go through the second part, or the Wolverine order for the second time.
A lot of 0 for 1s.
Lefty against lefty, the first pitch to the at-bat. Swung on and missed on a pitch inside. Clementi looked like he was going to try to hold up, but tried to hold up too late. And the count's 0-1. Right back at it now is Fisher. Fires a fastball off the plate away. 1-1. Clementi making his 26th start of the season, as mentioned. Missed some time with a foot injury, as the breaking ball misses low and away for ball 2. Has earned the trust of head coach Eric Bakich when he's in the lineup, though, and has some impressive numbers to show for it. Even with the 0 for 1, still sitting with a .375 batting average.
Yes, when healthy at the DH slot, he appears to have supplanted, really, this season incumbent starter Miles Lewis. Lewis, of course, not having the season that many expected or hoped for, but excellent job by Clementi, really, to pick up the slack.
After swinging and missing on the 2-1 pitch, Clementi takes a breaking ball low and away and runs the count full. So one of the Wolverines' best chances at getting their first base run of the game. Just the second time they've gone to a 3-ball count against Fisher. Payoff pitch on its way. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Fisher retires. Clementi racks up his 5th strikeout of the ball game. And now 2 gone for Jonathan Engelman.
Yeah, that was a pitch. Looks like if he hadn't swung, that would have been high and outside, ball 4. But Clemente very much wanted it, and I don't think he really took what the pitcher gave him right there. He just wanted to swing at the ball, and it was to be fair, it was a good-looking swing, but the ball was located to a point where he couldn't establish contact.
Jonathan Engelman now coming up. He struck out looking in his first at-bat. He watches a breaking ball miss outside from the lefty Fisher for ball number 1. Engelman has the platoon advantage here, lefty against righty. And the 1-0 pitch swung on and bounced towards the middle, making the play on a hop is Troike, throws to first in time for out number 3. So the Wolverines once again go 1, 2, 3 here in the 4th. Andy Fisher's perfect through 4. And the Illini lead Michigan by 4. The score is 4-0. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. I'm Austin Falco. Nick Hornberg's along here with me for the ball game today. We'll have all 3 games of this series. We had yesterday's ball game, today's, and tomorrow's 12 p.m. Eastern start on Mother's Day. We might finally get some good weather at the forecast is to be believed. Around 70 degrees and partly sunny tomorrow. Hard to believe.
I still have to buy a Mother's Day present.
Yeah, there you go. Here's your last minute reminder. You still have 1 day to get some Mother's Day gifts out there. Mother's Day tomorrow at the ballpark. Also Food Truck Day and Senior Day with the last home game for the Wolverines coming tomorrow. Ben Dragani will remain on the mound for Michigan here. Has struggled a bit through 4 innings. Has 81 pitches.
Well, actually, partway through that 4th inning, I actually figured that I actually had a fear that might be his last, because at that point, having given up 2 runs, no outs, he had thrown 74 pitches. But excellent way to close the inning there, and he's through 4 with air quotes only 81 pitches, and luckily for him now, Brent Spillane is leading off the inning, which honestly, if you have to face him, that's probably the best spot in an inning to face him with nobody on base.
There were a couple Wolverine pitchers making their way to the indoor warm-up facilities off to the left field side, just adjacent to the Michigan bullpen. Spillane takes the first pitch of the at-bat inside for ball 1. Spillane did hit a leadoff homer when he's leading off the 6th inning of yesterday's ball game. Went deep to right center then, which was only his 2nd most impressive home run as he takes a ball outside. He cleared the field house over the right field wall. Extremely impressive for a right-handed hitter here at Ray Fisher Stadium. That was the 2nd home run of his. The first was that shot to right center. Now with a 3-0 count, Harrison Salter may be checking in the dugout to see if head coach Eric Backus just wants to give him this free pass. He opts not to and fires a fastball down the middle. Dangerous proposition there.
Well, as far as propositions go towards Brent Spillane, I actually don't think it's that dangerous. Obviously, 3-0. Nobody swings at 3-0.
Brent Spillane just swung at 3-0 last time at bat.
Fair enough.
He doesn't swing at the 3-1, though, and takes what he thought was ball 4. It is ruled to be strike number 2, though, by Mike Morris. And after getting halfway down the line, Spillane retrieves his bat, comes back to the plate, and hopefully for the Wolverines, it didn't make him too angry there.
I don't know. If you get angry, you can be knocked off your game. Swing at a pitch you wouldn't swing at.
Payoff pitch, swung out and hit high in the air near right center field, ranging over into right center is Engelman. He backtracks onto the warning track on a pitch that, on a ball rather, that off the bat looked way too high to come close to getting out. Carried quite a long way, but it's a long out, number 1.
Yeah, and obviously, if you're listening here, chances are you can't see, but it almost looked like he got under the ball a little bit there. Got a little bit of a pop-up, and it's still carried, I believe, over to that light pole. I want to say it's about 380 feet.
Somewhere around there. Michael Massey steps in now, takes the first pitch breaking ball high for ball 1. Dragani getting to work from the windup for second straight batter, something he hasn't been able to do a whole lot in the ballgame today. Second pitch is also a breaking ball, but this one's on the outside corner for strike number 1. 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed with the fastball outside corner again. Counts 1-2 now on Massey. Dragani maybe finally settling in here in the top of the 5th. Up on the count, 1-2 on the cleanup hitter for the Illini. Winding up in the pitch. Breaking ball, swung on for strike 3. He went around, says home plate umpire Mike Morris. And Michael Massey has himself the hat trick, his 3rd strikeout of the game here in just the 5th inning. That's Dragani's 4th overall. So 4 strikeouts, 3 of them are the same guy. I think you've got that guy's number.
I think that's something that really we've talked about how Dragani's had a rough start with his pitch count and giving up runs. A lot of the damage has been done late in the order. We talked about how scary the top of the order is with Taylor, Tricky, Spillane, and Massey. 12 at-bats against the 4 of them. He's given up 1 hit and 2 walks. As far as that goes, when you look at the scoreboard, that isn't what you'd expect from the top of the Illini lineup. But really, this game has been carried by Andy Fisher and the bottom half of the Illini lineup.
Michael Mahalik takes the first 2 pitches of the at-bat, 1 outside, 1 inside, and the count's 2-0. Mahalik was really the guy that has kickstarted the bottom half of this Illinois order. He's 0 for 1, but has a walk and scored the first run of the ball game. Takes the 2-0 pitch off the plate inside just a bit, and counts 3-0. Mike Morris, a strike zone, not quite as gracious on the inside corner as we saw in yesterday's ball game. Dragani's been trying to pound it there, but hasn't gotten the calls. 3-0 pitch is on the knees, right down the heart of the plate. Counts 3-1. This was grounded on a couple hops to Blomgren, right at shortstop. Doesn't have to move. Fields throws to first. And Dragani has himself his first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game here in the 5th. He'll leave this inning having thrown approximately 96 pitches, if my count is correct. Might be the last we see of Dragani today.
Well, that isn't a bad way to close. Obviously, been quite a rough game for him, but excellent close there. 1-2-3 inning, including their 2 strongest hitters, Brent Spillane and Mike Massey. And it's something that Dragani, if this is the last we see of him today, can take into consideration when I believe he is in line to start next week against Purdue. And that's something that he can take with him into West Lafayette and boost his confidence a little bit going into Purdue next week.
We are halfway home here at Ray Fisher Stadium after that top of the 5th inning. Score Illinois 4, Michigan 0. Fairly quick game so far. Again, knock on wood there, don't want to jinx anything. About an hour 20 for half the ball game, quicker than we saw yesterday. That ran a little over 3 hours. The exact duration, 3 hour, 15 minute, partly because of that 10 spot Illinois put up over the course of the day. Also helping the pace of play today, Andy Fisher, who has retired every single Wolverine hitter he's faced today. He'll start up against Jesse Franklin for the 2nd time in today's ball game to lead off the bottom of the 5th. Franklin, you guessed it, 0 for 1. He went down on a strikeout back in the 2nd. Coming up to one of the best walk-up songs on the Wolverine squad, in my opinion, Jimi Hendrix. He breaks up the perfect game by getting plunked right on the back.
Well, I don't think it's one of the best. I think it is the best all along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix. But hey, the Wolverines have their first base runner.
Broke up the perfect game right away. A breaking ball got a little away from Fisher and plunked Franklin right on the back. He'll be happy to take his base. The Wolverines will be happy to finally have to avoid the perfect game. There still is a big old 0 in that hit column, though, and it'll be up to Jordan Wogu next to try to change that.
Well, if you have to reach into a hat with 9 names and and hope for one guy who's gonna come out and try and break up a no-hitter. It would be Jordan Wogu hitting 392 on the season. However, 0 for 1 today with a ground ball to second base.
He takes the first pitch low and in for a ball from Fisher. And that inside corner not quite open for business in this ball game today. Fisher's adapted a little bit better than Dragani has. Tries to go back to that inside corner, but misses well low and in. Almost takes out the foot of Wogu.
I think that's really Fisher's adjustments. I think it's really a testament to game experience he has relative to Dragani. Fisher, of course, a junior. Dragani only a freshman. And really, Dragani hasn't even spent the whole season in the starting rotation. And I think that's where Fisher has the advantage.
2-0 pitch now. Off the plate, inside again. The count's 3-0. Fisher is actually a redshirt sophomore. He's a transfer from Eastern Illinois, but the point stands. Definitely more experience than Dragani in terms of pitching at the collegiate level. Jordan will go in the driver's seat here, up 3-0 in the count. The pitch from Fisher on the inside corner for strike 1. Looked awfully similar to the last few pitches that Wogu saw, and perhaps why he tossed the bat and started to make his way down to first.
Yeah, generally, of course, as you mentioned, home plate umpire Mike Morris hasn't been particularly generous on that inside corner of the zone, but Jordan Wogu didn't like that, and from what we heard, looks like a couple of fans here didn't really like that call either.
So Wogu, at least we get a chance to swing the bat perhaps on 3-1. He does. He grounds towards first. Fielded there by Spillane. Throws to second for 1. The relay throw not in time as Wogu uses his speed to beat out the relay back to the pitcher Fisher covering first.
And Wogu saunters over to first base. He doesn't like that. He's not happy with that ground ball that he sent right to first to Brent Spillane. But they're in a similar position. I would argue potentially in a better position now with Jordan Wogu. 10 for 12 stolen bases on the season. Much more of a base runner than Jesse Franklin.
Yeah, Wogu looked like he was expecting fastball there on 3-1. Got a change up, was out in front of it, and ticked it off the end of the bat. Right to Spillane at first base, who was covering, so he was able to get there quickly and have a shot at turn double play. Fisher tries a pickoff move. It has Wogu frozen for about a half second there, but he had a very small lead and was able to get back in really easily.
And now this is where the Wolverines excel. They can get their base runners on base. They can play around with these pitchers and really try to get back in this game.
Christian Bullock's at the plate now. He's squared around with the first pitch and pulled back to watch a breaking ball miss low and away. As you mentioned, Wogu a threat to steal, but there is now 1 out in the inning as a ground ball could get Fisher out of this. Bullock speedy and a little tougher to double up, but he squares around a bunt here and win around for strike 1.
It's another one. I think Bullock was expecting fastball there, but it was looks like it appeared to be an off-speed pitch. Bullock hung in there in the batter's box with the bat out a little bit longer than a bunting player would want to, and I think that really cost him there.
Looked like he's trying to drag it down the first base line, perhaps with lefty Fisher on the mound. He falls off towards the third base side. Spillane's covering first, so he can't cheat too much moving in. And Massey looks like he's in double play depth over at second, maybe a bit shallower towards normal depth. 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed from Bullock. Counts 1-2.
Looks like they've abandoned the bunt. Bullock looked like he was swinging for the fences there. As we've seen, he does have some timely power. Hit a long arcing fly ball to right field in the 11th inning victory against Penn State a few weeks ago.
Down on the count here, 1-2, trying to avoid striking out for the second time in the ball game today. Another pickoff throw. Wogu back in standing. The Illini infield moving back now. Not expecting that bunt, as you mentioned. Looks like the Wolverines have abandoned that. Notably third baseman Grant Van Scoy moving well back behind the third base bag now after playing right about in line with it. Wogu's running on the pitch, swung on and missed. The throw down to second is plenty of time. Strike him out, throw him out, double play, and the inning is over. So the Wolverines get their first base runner, break up the perfect game, but aren't able to record a hit. So through 5, Andy Fisher still rolling, as are the Illini. They lead Michigan by a score of 4-0 here on the official student radio broadcast for Michigan Baseball, WCBN Sports.
That was a bad situation right there. Definitely not a bad idea to send Wogu, as we said, 10 for 12 stolen bases. Generally has no issues getting over to second base, but I think the weather conditions has kind of worked itself into the legs of some of these guys, perhaps not able to run as fast as they could, as they generally would be able to. Bullock looked almost like he was trying for a hit and run right there, swung right through it, and of course, right when he's running, that's when Andy Fisher throws a fastball, perfect position for the catcher, David Cran, to jump up and make that play. Excellent defensive play there, and the Illini still have retired 15 of a possible 15.
You had to somewhat question the decision there to go on that pitch. Wogu didn't seem to quite be reading Fisher. He was reading him better towards the end of the at-bat than he was at the beginning, but still taking a very small lead. And if it was a hit and run and a 1-2 count for Bullock, who has already struggled and struck out against Fisher once in the ball game, it just doesn't quite seem logical there to put the hit and run or anything like that on, and as a result, strike him out, throw him out. Illinois is out of the inning, and through 5, still with no hits on the board for Michigan.
And it looks like, as the players take the field, it looks like Ben Dragani is going to get another inning.
He's starting at 96 pitches. You have to imagine the leash will be short in this inning. He does face the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in this order, Turchin, Yalowitz, and Van Scoy. But that has proven to be the dangerous part in the order. Those 3 rallied for 3 straight hits and scored 2 runs back in the 4th last time they were at the plate. Starting off with the man at the plate, Turchin, he had a leadoff single. He takes strike 1 there. It was a hard hit ball into the hole at short that Blomgren threw over to first. Franklin couldn't quite keep his foot on the bag, though. Breaking ball moving down and in on Turchin. We win around, according to first base umpire Doug Williams.
And this is where we're getting into the Dragani we've seen all season. Quick at-bats, good location of pitches, and fooling hitters.
0-2 pitch now. Fastball, or rather breaking ball, spiked well in front of the plate. Dragani not happy with himself for leaving it quite that far out in front and not being able to get a chase. So the count's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Winding up now, 1-2. Fastball high and away, counts 2-2 now. Turchin does have a bit of an issue with strikeouts, second on the team with 45 of them, but he is tied for the team lead in walks, or rather is now second after Spillane walked earlier with 28, so likes to work the count, and he's doing so here. Takes a breaking ball low and in and runs it full. Winding up now, the payoff pitch. Swung on, hit high and deep towards left center field. Ranging back is Wogu, back near the track at the wall. Cannot make the play. It bounces and one hops the wall. He's going to throw in towards second, but Turchin will get in there standing with a leadoff double here in the 6th inning.
Well, the Wolverines relief pitchers using their indoor warm-up. Looks like they're using their indoor facility, so it's a little bit difficult for us to comment with that report on the length of leash on Ben Dragani. However, what can be said is that was a 6-pitch at-bat that ultimately ended in a stand-up double. And now it looks like Eric Bakich is going to walk out to the mound, and it looks like Ben Dragani's day is done.
We'll see who comes in for the Wolverines, but the slow walk out to the mound does indeed appear to mean that the freshman Dragani has finished his outing. He'll make it through a little over 5 innings worth of work. Gave up 6 hits now. He's given up 4 runs, all of them earned thus far. He is responsible for that runner on second, as the call to the pen is officially made by Bakich. He ended up walking 3, striking out 4. Not the best outing for the freshman, but ultimately, for someone who's been spectacular this season, you expect a down start here or there, especially for a freshman getting late and perhaps fatigued as a pitcher.
And it looks like the reliever is going to be one of the few two-way players on this team is right-hand pitcher / first baseman freshman Ryan Cutt.
It'll actually be Alec Renard for the Wolverines. Was projected to be a starter at the beginning of the season.
You're right. I'm sorry. I
Wrong
apologize.
roster there. Ryan Cutt pitched in yesterday's ballgame for Illinois. It is Alec Renard, though. Came into the season expecting to be a starter for the Wolverines as the senior right-hander out of Santa Rosa, California. So far on the season in limited action, he's pitched in 8 games, started 5 of those, as mentioned. Has been coming out of the pen his last couple outings. He's 2-2 with a 2.67 ERA in 30 1/3 innings worth of work. He struck out 24, walked just 7. Opposing batters hit 250 against him, and he's a good arm to have out there for head coach Eric Bakich to go to if one of his young starters struggles over a weekend series.
Well, and now it looks like Renard's going to be thrown in a little bit of a damage control situation. Runner on second, no outs. Looks like it's going to be starting from a little bit of a disadvantaged position. However, as we've said, the end of this lineup, perhaps they'll lose a little bit of their teeth with a new pitcher in, but that obviously can't be guaranteed, so see how Renard does.
So the first batter Renard will face will be Jack Yalowitz. Interestingly, switching up, going from the lefty to a right-handed pitcher, just as the left-hander comes up to bat. Yalowitz on the day, 1 for 2, doubled back in the 4th and came around to score. He was the one that hit the double on the left field line that just could not be reached by Wogu or Blomgren in the little patch of brown turf out there. He hits one near that similar spot over to the left side on the left field line, but that'll get into the Wolverine bullpen after Wogu gives chase for a bit. And the count's 0-1. Renard, 6'3", 210 out there on the mound. Wearing the sleeves, all blue. Gets his sign, the 0-1 pitch. Squaring around a bunt here is Yalowitz. He bunts right back to Renard on the mound. That'll get the job done and move Turchin over to third on the sacrifice as Renard records the out at first, 1-3.
And a good defensive play by Alec Renard there. Cover the bunt. Obviously, the Illini showing very willing to try and lay down bunts so far today, but another productive out there by the Illini. Turchin now moves over to third base with 1 out.
And the man of the day coming to the plate, it's Grant Van Scoy, 2 for 2, home run, single, and all 4 RBIs in the ball game so far in this one. Watches the first pitch from Renard, missed low and away, 1-0. Van Scoy, after struggling yesterday a bit, just 2 for 4 with a couple of 0 for 4 rather with a couple of strikeouts. Really come into play today and is locked in as he fouls one straight back to the screen on 1-0 and evens the count at 1-1.
Well, Van Scoy owned Dragani. Now he has the platoon disadvantage against Alec Renard, and be interesting to see if that has any effect on his output today.
Renard comes set with the glove at the belt, 1-1 pitch, fastball, strike 2. Renard's had a good fastball slider combo that Van Scoy would not have seen so far in this one. Coming from that right-hand side. He does stand all the way off to the first base side of the rubber, though, does Renard. 1-2 pitch, high fastball has Van Scoy ducking out of the way. And the count's 2-2. Van Scoy's first homer of the year came back in the 2nd. And he lines one down the right field line. Ducking out of the way was a fan near the first base
He gives the signal he's okay, and looks like he's about to walk over and claim a souvenir.
Does have a credential on, so not sure exactly what role he's playing today, but saw that one coming and adequately ducked behind the barrier wall. Regardless, there's another 2-2 pitch to Vanskoy. Looks like a slider, misses well outside and away, or rather, and low. And the count's full. Runner on third, Turchin would be able to score on the probably medium depth fly ball. He does have some speed. 3-2 pitch is bounced over a leaping Nelson over at third base and into left field for a single. So Grant Vanskoy just continues absolutely demolishing the Wolverines today. Picks up RBI number 5 and puts Illinois ahead 5-0.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an unfortunate bounce there for Blake Nelson off the turf. Over his head, if it bounces maybe a foot or two lower, he's able to jump up, knock it down, and hold Turchin at third base. But unfortunately, that is not how it went. Bounced over his head, rolled into left field, claimed by Wogu, and the Illini extend their lead.
So the one-man buzzsaw that is Grant Vanskoy is over at first base for the catcher David Cran. Cran squares around the bunt and pulls back, takes low, counts 1-0. I feel like I've said that a lot here. Squares around a bunt and pulls back. Seems like as soon as there's a runner on base, every Illini hitter is squaring around on that first pitch. Even Bren Spillane. Now down the count 1-0. Renard fires a line shot into right field for a base hit. Bullock Fields throws in time to hold Vanskoy at second.
Well, I think the frequency of the bunts can be chalked up to. I think they want to test these. Really, the pitcher and catcher, really. Harrison Salter, of course, the last-minute substitute for Brock Keener. And first Dragani, now Renard. They want to see if they can force them to make defensive plays, force them to move, come off their positions, and really make their lives a lot more difficult.
Back-to-back singles have runners at first and second, and the Illini will cycle back up to the top of their order for Zach Taylor. Taylor, his 4th plate appearance of the ball game here in the top of the 6th. He takes outside, and a pickoff throw on the first is not in time to get Cran. Counts 1-0 on Taylor. 0 for 2 in the ball game today with a walk all the way back in the first. As you mentioned, Nick, the top of the order really isn't the one that's done the damage. It's from the bottom half, and they've got 2 of their men on base, but looks like Zach Taylor did some damage here as he hits this one high, deep to left, and gone. Over the tall wall in left field. Jordan Wogu had nothing to do but stop and watch it fly over, and the Illini are pouring it on now. They've opened up an 8-0 lead now.
That's right where, that's actually pretty much the same position where Grant Vanskoy launched his home run, just over Bill Freehand's number at the diagonal point in the wall. However, this one looked like it went a lot farther. That was absolutely rocked there by Zach Taylor. No doubt. With Vanskoy's home run, at least when it came off, you saw it had the distance. Looked like it didn't look like it could have necessarily come down a little bit short. This one looked like it was a line drive home run straight over the wall.
8-0 out the score. Bases cleared. Ben Troike takes his spot at the plate and swings and misses at a fastball to start the at-bat against Renard. All 3 of the runs on the home run there charged to Renard. The run that came home on the Vanskoy single was charged to the starter Dragani. Half swing there at another fastball from Renard. Results in strike 2. Troike also his 4th time at the plate today. He's 1 for 3 with a single, and now we'll get on base with a hit by pitch. He started sprinting down. We had time call at the plate. Might be ruling that he was leaned over the plate. I'm not sure exactly what the call is here. And it looks like manager Dan Hartleb out to the mound to double check. Or rather, out to home plate to check. Waiting on an official ruling. Troike was brought back to the plate. pitch was ruled a ball. He may have leaned into the pitch unnecessarily.
Fans here getting a little bit tired of Dan Hartlib standing out there, and it looks like he'll be sent back, and the count is 1-2.
Pitch was ruled a ball, even though Troike thought that it did indeed hit him. 1-2 pitch down the way. Just a bit low with that one. Evens count at 2 apiece. Troike looked like he was getting on base for the second time today, and may still do so as the 2-2 pitch misses high and away for ball 3.
Yeah, it's funny how the mind works, especially when in situations like this, when you think you're going to get on base. How many times have we seen players think they take ball 4, they start jogging over, and then they're called back, and then they immediately swing on a third strike the next pitch?
3-2 pitch is given about a half-effort swing and fouled around the plate. So Troike stays alive at 3-2 again. That home run for Taylor last at-bat, his 9th of the season. Brings his RBI total up to 34, and this time, no doubt about that one, Troike gets hit right square on the arm. Tried to shimmy out of the way, but couldn't do so in time, so a couple pitches later, Troike gets on base with a hit by pitch, regardless of any controversy that happened earlier on.
Troike throwing that bat in his elbow pad with a little bit of emphasis right there. I think he may have been a little frustrated that that didn't go his way, maybe his view at least. Of course, I can't speak for what actually happened, but perhaps he feels he may have been unnecessarily had to get hit a second time to get on base. Look a little bit frustrated.
That was a little more flush as well.
Yeah, it hit him right in the hip.
Hurt a little bit more. And now up is Bren Spillane. He goes right past the shift. Akeo Thomas playing on the shortstop side of second. Hits it right where he normally would have been playing in double play depth. Akeo Thomas is not happy at all. Screaming towards the dugout as he gets that ball in from Engelman in center. Going first to third is Troike on the single there from Spillane.
A little interesting right there. Brent Spillane obviously 0 for 2 with a walk so far coming into that. And, you know, we've talked about him and his power. And you'd think, you know, first hit of the day, doubling the gap, if not a home run. And it's, you know, not necessarily weak, but not particularly hard hit ground ball into shallow center. Actually, Renard almost fielded right there cleanly, but just got under his glove and past where Thomas would be.
Spillane's running on the first pitch to Michael Massey. Massey fouls it out of play, bouncing off a car on a hop near Yost Ice Arena.
Doesn't look like anything broke. Oh, no, never mind. See a little bit of a dent in the rear bumper.
Counts 0-1 now on Massey, trying to turn his day around. Even though the Illini are winning 8-0, he's already got a hat trick. 3 strikeouts in this one. All 3 of those coming against Ben Dragani. It's his first look at Alec Renard on the day. Spillane not going on this pitch, and it's fouled off to the left side again. This one a little bit farther down and bouncing off a Yost Ice Arena, avoiding cars this time.
Yost Ice Arena takes a lot of punishment during these games.
We've got netting over all the big windows all the way down past where the infield extends. 0-2 pitch. Just a bit high, maybe a bit outside as well. Counts 1-2. 1 gone here in the inning. Runners on the corners. Illinois are ready to put up a 4 spot. 1-2 count to Massey. Pitch is on its way. It's lined into left center. Spillane was running on the pitch, so he might score all the way from first. He's being waved around. He will score all the way from first base as Blomgren doesn't even try a throw home. Meanwhile, Massey's into second. 2 more runs have scored. Illinois puts up a 10 spot already here in the 6th. It's 10-0.
Yeah, it's a little. I believe it should be 11-0. All right. Sorry, I stand corrected. But excellent base running there by Spillane. Started running as the pitch was thrown. Interesting question to ask. Was he just given the call to steal, and did Massey just happen to swing, or was that a hit and run call, as you said last time in this situation. 2-strike hit and run, a little bit illogical. So tempted to say more like a steal attempt. Excellent base running there by a player who, just looking at him with his size, you'd think not a threat to take added bases, but excellent work there to bring him around, and excellent work there by Massey, recovering from 3 straight strikeouts with a double.
Pitching coach Chris Fetter out to talk with Alec Renard here as he's gotten himself into some trouble. He's the reliever. He's given up as many runs now as Dragani, 5 apiece. And he's also responsible for that runner on second now, Massey. He'll try to work himself out of this jam, just limit the damage at this point.
Well, it's never a good look, obviously, if you're a bullpen arm. And you've now given up 5 runs in a third of an inning, recorded only 1 out.
Now Michael Mahalik up at the plate. The 9th hitter of the inning to bat for Illinois takes a pitch inside for ball 1. Mahalik's 0 for 2 on the day with a walk and a run scored all the way back in the 2nd inning of this one, which all of a sudden feels like a century ago. 1-0 pitch. Called. Strike on the fastball at the belt. Mahalik not the extra base threat the guys before him were, but with the way Illinois is hitting right now, sometimes just gets contagious. Put a good swing on a ball, good things can happen. He's a bit behind the 1-1 pitch though and fouls it off near the Illinois dugout. So the count's 1-2. Doran Turchin, the man on deck, led off the inning with a double. He was the last batter faced by Ben Dragani before Alec Renard has come in. Faced the next 7, now 8, including Mahalik at the plate. Only retired 1 of them on a sacrifice bunt. He'll retire 2 of them now, though. This one's muscled over towards first. Franklin makes the play and steps on the bag himself. 3 unassisted for out number 2.
And Michael Mahalik still remains as the only Illinois hitter so far today without a hit. However, he has reached base.
Doran Turchin, who's making his 2nd plate appearance of the inning, has reached base twice with a double and a single respectively. He will not get a look at Alec Renard, though, as head coach Eric Back is taking the slow walk out to dugout. This is the 2nd time that someone will be visiting Renard on the mound. It's only a matter of time before he makes the official move down to the pen. Wolverines will use their 3rd pitcher here in the inning.
It may seem a little bit obvious to say that wasn't what Eric Bakich expected or wanted out of his reliever right there. Alec Renard, of course, the veteran player, comes out, gives up 5 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Something you never really want to see, especially because he's been one of their more solid pitchers out there today. But that's baseball. Sometimes you do have rough games, and looks like his day is done.
It'll be Angelo Smith coming in to replace him. Smith, the left-handed throwing freshman out of Thornton, Illinois. He'll be making his 13th appearance on the season. He's been stingy. Just a 1.53 ERA and 17 2/3 innings worth of work. He has struck out 14, walked 9. Opponents have a .213 batting average against him.
Yet another interesting, as you said last time when Renard came in to hit against, I believe it was right-handed pitcher against the left-handed Yalowitz. Now Eric Backett brings in the left-handed pitcher to pitch to the right-handed Turchin.
Perhaps just trying to figure out something that's going to work in this ball game, as the Wolverines have really struggled to retire just about anyone all day long. Illinois already going through their order for the 4th time. We're only here in the 6th inning. They've batted around. This will be the 10th batter of the inning. It will be Doran Turchin. He's coming up to the plate right about now as Angelo Smith looks ready after his warm-up pitches to resume the top of the 6th inning. Already 6 runs across in this 6th inning for Illinois. They lead by a score of 10-0 over the Michigan Wolverines in the second game of a 3-game series. It was a must-win series for both teams, and Illinois looks like they're going to be the one that gets the job done. Angelo Smith's first pitch of his outing is a fastball on the outside corner to Turchin for strike 1. Smith now coming set, working quickly the 0-1 pitch. Another fastball at the belt for strike 2. Smith looks into Salter, comes set glove right about at the letters. 0-2 pitch. Low fastball this time, taken from Turchin. It's ball 1.
Plate discipline of these Illini hitters has been absolutely stellar. Of course, they haven't really found themselves behind 0-2 a whole lot this game, but when they have, they hold their nerve. And once again, now he's back in this count.
1-2 pitch, swing and miss on a breaking ball. Rather, he fouled it, got a piece of it. It is ruled that Salter did not catch the ball. So it'll go as a foul ball. First base umpire Doug Williams right on that call. Saw that Salter, while he tried to sell that he was able to grab that ball before it hit the ground, Worldy trapped it. And so Turchin stays alive. We'll do it again here at 1-2. Here comes the pitch. Fastball outside. 2-2 will be the count.
I think it's a little bit of an issue. See right there, another is an outside pitch right there. Angelo Smith, obviously a left-handed pitcher, sidearm thrower. Yes, he stands over on the third base side of the rubber. However, it can sometimes be a little difficult, especially Smith is only a freshman, to force that ball back inside.
2-2, swung on and roped on the left field line. Will it stay fair? It does not. Barely finding the foul territory between the barrier wall, the Michigan bullpen, and the foul line. It can't be more than maybe 10 feet between there.
Yeah, that was an absolute laser. Bounced off the top of the barrier wall, actually, and bounced up against the material against the wall out in left field on the foul ball side.
A breaking ball, swing and a miss. Finally retires Turchin there, and Michigan finally gets out of the inning. It took 3 pitchers, and the Illini score 6 runs. The big blow being the 3-run home run by Zach Taylor. So through 5.5 innings. It's all Illinois in this one. They lead Michigan by a score of 10-0.
Yeah, something. Of course, the Wolverines lost 10-3 last night, and now they've given up more. And a little unfortunate, really. The Wolverines should be contending for the NCAA tournament. And then you look at the scoreboards around the conference. Indiana, Nebraska knotted up at 1-1. Minnesota, Michigan State scoreless. Very low-run games, but unfortunately the Illini really have come into Ann Arbor to play this weekend, and the Wolverines haven't been able to keep pace.
And Illinois is sneaking up near the top of the Big Ten standings. Last night, Minnesota, Michigan, and Purdue, the top 3 teams in the conference, all losing their respective games. Of course, Michigan was here losing to Illinois. Minnesota lost to Michigan State, and Purdue dropped one to 4th place Ohio State. So Ohio State and Illinois both gain a game on all the top 3 teams in the conference. It should be a tight race if that trend continues going into this weekend and next.
Yes, Ohio State and Illinois tied for 4th, 12-7 in the conference. Minnesota, Michigan tied for 1st at 14-4. Purdue is in the middle in 3rd place, 13-5. However, interesting to note, Ohio State and Illinois have both played one more game than the top 3.
Of course, Michigan's coming as a result of a rainout against Maryland earlier in the season. But a tight Big Ten race coming down to the wire here. Illinois looks to be really hitting their stride and perhaps could be a dark horse to maybe capture the Big Ten regular season title. Especially if they play like they have the last couple days and you get pitching like Andy Fisher has, who is not allowed to hit through 5 innings. First batter he faces here in the 6th is Blake Nelson. He fouls one off on the right field line out of play. Nelson 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking back in the third. 0-1 pitch to him is misses outside for a ball 1-1. If you're Andy Fisher now, the perfect game's out of the way. You might be able to nibble a bit more. On the other hand, if you're not necessarily too worried about the no-hitter, you're up 10-0, you can just throw strikes at this point.
Yeah.
He does there and gets Nelson swinging, counts 1-2.
At this point, Fisher has been brutally efficient, 54 pitches through 5 innings. Really, I think at this point, his job, maybe something Coach Hartlib said to him, is just get this game over.
Breaking ball called, strike 3. Nelson goes down on a called breaking ball, strike 3 for the second time today. Not seeing the ball well from Fisher, but many Wolverine hitters aren't. That's 7 strikeouts for Fisher through 5 1/3 innings, and it's Harrison Salter's turn to come up to the plate.
It's actually very interesting that you said Illinois getting hot at the right time. In the last 10 before this game, they were 4-6, and that's including the 10-3 drubbing last night.
Ground ball gets past the first baseman Spillane into the right field corner. Salter boogieing his way into second. He'll stop there as it was Yalowitz who had a little trouble in right field. That could be called an error. It skipped off the arm of Spillane. We'll see just how kind the home scoring is, and they do give a hit to Harrison Salter. No hitter is officially over for Andy Fisher, and Harrison Salter's got himself a leadoff, or rather a double here with 1 gone in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, I think that very easily could have been called an E3 on Spillane. However, that was such a hard-hit ball, it'd be difficult for even the best of first basemen to field, so I don't think particularly unjustified in granting the hit right there, but if anything, now Fisher can relax a little bit.
I have a feeling if that's at Illinois, that's definitely ruled an error. If this game's being played over in Champaign.
Well, that's something that's still take it for granted.
First pitch of Jack Blomgren's at bat hits him in the foot. So the Wolverines have 2 base runners on here for the first time in the ballgame today, and they're going to send at least a 4th runner to the plate for the first time in the ballgame today. It's Akeo Thomas. Salter's on second, Blomgren's on first. Akeo Thomas, who's 0 for 2 in the ballgame today with a ground out to short and a ground out to second. Probably doesn't want to try to repeat that fate as a double play ball ends the threat. If you're Michigan, you just want to try to chip away at the lead and stay as close as you possibly can. Already down by 10 here in the bottom of the 6th. It's getting late, so base runners are paramount. Fisher coming set, checks Salter at second. Fires wide and past the catcher Cran. Both runners advance on the wild pitch there. So double play ball no longer in order.
And now
Thomas is ahead 1-0.
Now you've got yourself in a very good situation here. 1 out, runners on second and third. I believe Illinois has been in this position twice so far this game. And now Akeo Thomas, over the last few games, has improved his average a fair bit. But now we'll see what he can do with it.
As the train of Illini make their way down to the bullpen area after Fisher gave up that first hit and now seems to be struggling with his command a little bit, hitting Blomgren and firing well wide to Thomas for the wild pitch. Perhaps a little action will start up in the Illinois bullpen. Fastball to Thomas is taken for a strike. Can't tell if Thomas likes that or not. He looked towards the dugout at first like he was upset, and then nodded yes that he thought that was indeed a strike. Big hole on the right side with Massey shading towards second. He hits it to the left side though, and the shortstop Troike makes the play, throws to first in time. It will be an RBI ground out for Thomas as Michigan gets on the board, but it is out number 2 here in the 6th inning, which is a little bit more important in a 10-run game.
Yeah, with the current state of the game, really, you take what you can get, and Akeo Thomas not going to be a player who's going to hit a whole lot of doubles in the gaps. So as a result, you take that ground out, you get on the board, you restore a little bit of confidence.
And I think right there is something that is almost Akeo Thomas's season in a nutshell. He's either popping the ball up or hitting it straight on the ground. Hasn't really gotten a lot of line drives this season. Swing just has been a little bit off all year long as Dominic Clementi takes the first pitch, the at-bat high, ball 1. And it shows in the numbers to an extent when you compare him to last year's. Still a very good player, obviously. Very good defensive second baseman. Clemente chops one to first. Belaine makes this play easily and takes it to the bag himself. 3 unassisted to end the 6th inning here. So we're through 6 innings of play at Ray Fisher Stadium. Illinois still leads Michigan by a score of 10-1 now. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. I'm Austin Falco with Nick Hornberg, bringing you the call for today's ball game. Not the way Michigan has wanted to start out this series, losing 10-3 yesterday and 10-1 already today. So head to the last third of this ball game, just trying to look for positive, try to keep it close. One positive, perhaps, that could come up is the man on the mound, Angelo Smith. Smith, the freshman reliever, has been good so far this season. The diminutive left-hander stands up there at just 5'10", 155. Far from an intimidating presence on the mound, but does has himself a very nice fastball breaking ball combo. He showed it last inning. He'll face the bottom third of the Illinois order here. Jack Yalowitz, Grant Van Scoy, David Cran, which normally you'd think is a good thing, just anecdotally, but today that's been the part of the order that's done the most damage, and 9 times up to the plate for all of them today. A combined 5 hits, 1 double, a home run, and 5 RBIs. All 5 of those go to Grant Van Scoy. 4 runs scored for those bottom 3 men in the order. It will be Jack Yalowitz starting things off here in the 7th. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Ground out, double, run scored, and a sacrifice bunt for him in this one. Smith winds up now, lefty to lefty. Fires well outside. Harrison Salter can't even get a glove on it, and that's ball 1. Smith stands off to the far third base side of the rubber. It's the 1-0 pitch. Misses high for a ball 2-0. It's been a trend for Wolverine arms. They go essentially to the opposite side of the rubber that they throw from. As the third pitch really gets away and goes way over the head of Yalowitz. Not even close with the first 3 pitches here for Smith, and the count's 3-0. Winding up, and the 3-0 pitch. Skips out of the glove of Salter. Might have gotten a call there, pitcher's strike, but couldn't hang on to it. So 4 pitches and a leadoff walk issued here by Smith.
That's actually something the Wolverine catchers, really, whether it's Salter or Brock Keener, have really struggled with all season, is cleanly fielding pitches that aren't really in the dirt. And I think really it doesn't happen often, but I think really in that case, yes, that may have cost them a call.
First pitch here to Grant Van Scoy, misses low, 1-0. Van Scoy, the man of the day, 3 for 3, 2 singles and a home run, 5 RBIs, 2 runs scored. He's stuffing the stat sheet. And the 6th pitch of the inning is the first strike thrown by Angelo Smith. It's 1-1. Smith keeping an eye on Yalowitz over there at first. Hasn't attempted many steals this season, just 4 attempts. He swiped bags on 2 of them. And the 1-1 pitch is fouled straight back to the screen by Van Scoy. The count's 1-2 now.
Yeah, it's something I think Grant Van Scoy only hitting 238 coming into this game, but really, of course, as we've talked about, 3 hits, 5 RBIs, 2 runs, and a home run. Obviously, something sometimes hitters, whether it's a pitcher or they just feel right, but now he's been retired.
A swing and a miss there on the breaking ball from Angelo Smith. He's finally put down is Grant Van Scoy. So there's 1 gone in the inning, runner on first. The catcher David Cranon comes up to bat. And Cran is squared around a bunt on each of his first 3 plate appearances. We'll see if he does it again with the runner on first. He squares around here, swings, or rather pulls back. The throw down to second with the runner Yalowitz on the move was a little offline. Akeo Thomas almost made an acrobatic stab on a one-hopper and tried to tag Yalowitz, but couldn't get there. So a stolen base for Yalowitz and the ball at the plate. The count's 1-0, runner in scoring position.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an unfortunate situation right there. Obviously, the throw wasn't directly to where it probably should have been. However, it should be noted that second base umpire Bob Lothian was directly in the way of Thomas's view. Not his fault. That's just the way it fell. But well, I think maybe that may have impeded Thomas's ability to see that ball and get in a better position.
1-0 breaking ball is taken for strike 1. Cran 1 for 3 on the day. Lined a sharp single into right in his last at bat. Just last inning, and that's 6-run 6. Technically, actually, is 1 for 2. He had a sacrifice bunt attempt that was thrown away by Ben Dragani. Still counts as a sacrifice, though, so he doesn't get knocked and counted as an at-bat there. Took a breaking ball away for ball 2. Counts 2-1 now. Yalowitz on second after his 3rd stolen base of the season. 2-1 pitch here to Cran is inside for ball 3. Angelo Smith really struggling with the command this inning. After he was able to strike out the only batter he faced in the 6th, and Doran Turchin has not been able to consistently figure out the strike zone. Did get a stringing strikeout against Van Scoy, but the other 2 batters of the inning have been battles for him. This one's a battle as well, as the 3-run pitch is at the belt for a strike, and the count's full.
That's really the story of the game for the Illini, and to a certain extent the series so far, and it's just battling. Battling pitchers, not surrendering any outs easily, and it's something that I think that has served them well really so far, and it's going to serve them well for the rest of the season if they continue to play like this.
This one's grounded up the middle past Smith. A barehanded stab there by Blomgren, though, and he makes the play on the run to retire Cran by a half a step. Not sure if Smith got a piece of that one. See how it's officially ruled as either a 1-6-3 or a 6-3 ground out. Regardless, it is out number 2 of the inning, and Yalowitz moves up to 3rd. It is ruled Smith didn't touch it, so your normal 6-3 ground out there. And a nice play by Blomgren showing why he started so many games for the Wolverines. 45 now out of a possible 47. And now back to the top of the order, Zach Taylor at the plate. He takes the first pitch he sees from Angelo Smith down low for ball 1. Taylor 1 for 3 on the ball game, a walk, and just last inning hit a long 3-run homer over the left field fence.
Yeah, his ninth home run of the season, which is good for tied for second now on the Illini home run count, with Doran Turchin also hitting 9, and Brent Spillane with a commanding lead in that department with 20.
Taylor took a half swing at the 1-0 pitch, but it was called a strike anyway. And now on the 1-1, he takes high and away for a ball. The count's 2 balls and 1 strike on the center fielder for Illinois. Still a decent crowd here for a sub-50-degree cloudy day at Ray Fisher Stadium. So it's 2-1 pitch is absolutely ripped, but it's foul over the Wolverine bullpen down the left field line, and the count's evened up at 2-2.
Yes, like you said, actually quite a decent crowd here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Of course, we've seen when the weather's good, the fans come out in spades, fill the stadium up, but really so far, especially even with the bad weather, the support has been fairly good so far for this Michigan team.
2-2 pitch misses outside. Salter had to stab to keep that one from getting past and allowing another run. The count's full now. And talking about the crowd, today was Park at the Park Day. Didn't see a lot of dogs, but did see a few scattered around. We normally try to put them over in one area off to the right, down by the first base line. Say 3-2 pitch is fouled off down that first base line and into the Illini bullpen. Do it again at 3-2. Last year's Bark at the Park. A huge outing, plenty of dogs, had that whole section pretty much filled up. It was a nice, hot, sunny day. Not quite the same luck this year.
Yeah, not really story of the season. Not really the weather that everyone has wanted.
The 3-2 pitch is a breaking ball that misses low and in, almost hits Taylor in the foot, so he'll take his spot over at first base. And now runners at the corners for Ben Troike.
And actually, I think that's something that has influenced the Wolverines' numbers this season, especially the power numbers. As we've said, Jesse Franklin is the leader with only 9 relative to the Illini, who have three players at or over 9 home runs. In Illinois, Austin, you're from Chicago, obviously isn't known for its fantastic weather either.
I think really what it comes down to is Illinois just has more experienced, older players. Is Troike one of those guys? A sophomore hits one high in the air to the right side. K.O. Thomas ranges into shallow right field and makes the play to end the inning. So Angelo Smith gets out of the inning, the first and third jam, without allowing a run. And we'll head to the 7th inning stretch. The score, Illinois 10, Michigan 1.
To the ball game. Leading off the line for the 7th inning for Michigan, the center fielder, number 2, Jonathan Goldman.
All right, now play resumes here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Wolverines 3-slot hitter Jonathan Engelman stands in the box. I'm Nick Hornberg right now. Austin Falco, a little bit otherwise occupied at this current moment. Engelman stands in to face Andy Fisher. Andy Fisher thrown 66 pitches in 6 innings, average 11 pitches an inning, and the first pitch is taken low for a ball. First ball of the count, and now Austin has rejoined us.
Andy Fisher still on the mound, fires the second pitch of the at-bat to Jonathan Engelman for ball number 2, just a bit low. Engelman's ahead in the count 2-0, something he hasn't been able to say much today. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Fisher still working quickly now, fires low again. It's 3-0. The Michigan lineup, no answers for Andy Fisher just about all day today. 3-0 pitch, misses low and in for a ball.
And I think really these last few innings, I think you may be starting to see some of the cracks in Andy Fisher. Obviously, when the no-hitter was broken up last inning, he proceeded to concede a run, and now I believe that's the first walk. All right, I stand corrected.
Oh,
but
you're right. You are correct. First walk, he did hit a couple batters,
yes.
Fisher.
And that's a 4-pitch walk, to be more accurate, as all along the watchtower blazes around Ray Fisher Stadium as Jesse Franklin walks up into the box.
Franklin's had himself a rough day at the plate, but he lines one into left center field. That's going to be at least one, and cut off there by Taylor. Risky play, but did cut the ball off. Franklin's going to try for second for the double. He is safe. Right on the call there, where second base umpire Bob Lefty in and absolutely nailed that one. Jesse Franklin hustle double, has runners on second and third now. The Wolverines with a chance to maybe put up a couple more runs out their own.
I think they may have gotten away with it a little bit there. I don't think, not particularly great base running there by Franklin. Appeared to hold up at first and then receive the gesture to go, and he went. And I think the throw into second base was actually on time. However, I think Mike Massey was a little bit slow with getting around.
Couple runners in scoring position now, and nobody out, and Jordan Wogu steps up to the plate. Wogu's put the ball in play a couple times today, grounding out to second and to a fielder's choice at first, respectively. Takes a breaking ball, first pitch strike from Fisher in this at-bat. Wogu seems as if he's seen Fisher well, just hasn't quite been able to put a good swing on the ball. Got knuckled off on one of them and a little out in front on his second at-bat. Puts a good swing on this one, but fouls it straight back to the screen, and the count's 0-2. Wogu now taps the far side of the plate, waggles that bat around, ready to bear down here as he chokes up a little bit before this 0-2 pitch from Fisher. Here it comes. Breaking ball. Thought about swinging, did not go. That one broke low and in near his foot, and that's ball one. Good
plate discipline there by Wogu. Obviously, a lot of, really both sides have had issues holding up on 2 strike counts, more specifically the Wolverines more so than the Illini, but they've had their fair share. Good job there by Wogu in a part of the plate that isn't really particularly generous there for umpire Mike Morris.
1-2 pitch is fouled off to the right side out of play near the parking lot, so Wogu stays alive at 1-2. Some action now in the Illinois bullpen, as one of the Illini has removed their sweatshirt or rain jacket. Can't quite tell what they went with today. I believe they went with the sweatshirts. Yesterday they were all huddled around in rain jackets underneath the overhang in the dugout. But Fisher's still out there ready for another 1-2 to Wogu. Another breaking ball low and in that Wogu lays off and evens the count up at 2-2.
Looks like he really wants Jordan Wogu to swing at that pitch, but now Wogu still no more inclined to swing at that. Actually looked like checked even less, but now Wogu, good job to even up the count at 2-2 and see if he can plate some more runs against at the expense of Andy Fisher.
Fisher taking too long there to get his sign and get set for Wogu's liking, so he calls time at the plate, backs away. Now takes his spot back in the right-handed batter's box. Does the big freshman Wogu. Fisher's ready in the 2-2 pitch. Another breaking ball bearing down and in. This one closer to the strike zone, so Wogu swings and fouls it off his own foot. But he does stay alive. The count's still 2-2.
It's pretty amazing how he's able to take that off his foot and appears completely nonplussed at it.
On deck now, Miles Lewis in place of Christian Bullock, who has not seen Fisher well at all in the ball game today. Fisher's another 2-2 pitch to Wogu. Tries a high fastball this time, and Wogu again lays off. Great at bat being put together here by the left fielder for Michigan. Three and 2 the count. Runners on second and third. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Michigan trying to claw their way back into a 10-1 ball game. The 3-2 pitch. Fastball outside. Ball 4. Wogu does a great job there of working the walk, and he loads the bases for what it looks like it's going to be Miles Lewis.
Yes, Wolverines now in good position. Bases loaded, no outs. I suppose it's fair to question where was this 5 innings ago, but those questions are really devoid of point. They're here in this position now. Miles Lewis now in the bat, substitute for Christian Bullock. I think that's a demonstration. Eric Bakich thinks that this is the last time these hitters will see Andy Fisher. and he wants to make sure that he has the platoon advantage in this bases loaded, no out situation. Miles Lewis, the righty, going up against the the lefty Andy Fisher, and Bullock, of course, a left-handed hitter, and Bakich looks like he's going for the platoon advantage here over average, because Miles Lewis only hitting .248 on the season.
Yeah, Miles Lewis, a switch hitter, so able to flip to either side of the plate right now, batting from the right side against the lefty Fisher. Also had protection. There is a righty warming up in the Illinois bullpen, so Lewis would easily be able to flip around should Illinois make a counter move. They do not, though, as it was pitching coach Drew Dickinson that went out to the mound briefly to talk with Fisher here. Bases loaded, no out jam for him. You have to imagine he'd be pitching for a ground ball or strikeout here. Infield stays back for Illinois, up by 9 runs. Miles Lewis, as you mentioned, coming in batting .248 on the season, .329 in the on-base percentage department. Does have himself 3 home runs, 23 RBIs, and a golden chance to add to that second number here. Season hasn't quite gone the way he'd hoped as he fouls a fly ball off to the right side and into the Illinois bullpen. Counts 0-1. Miles, the redshirt junior out of Hudson, Wisconsin. Looked to be one of the only returners in this Michigan lineup, along with the likes of Akeo Thomas and Jonathan Engelman, but has since been booted out in the latter half of the season in favor of younger and perhaps more impressive options. He takes a fastball here on 0-1 outside, evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate for him, but really not off to the start of the season. And a lot of Wolverines players have really had strong seasons at the plate, and I think Lewis is kind of fallen behind in that regard. And of course, as we said, he's been supplanted by Clemente, but he'll have 1 more season after this to leave his mark.
The 1-1 pitch is spiked in front of the plate there by Fisher, backhanded by Cran to keep the runners at their respective bases. And the crowd starting to get a little more vocal. The crowd and the Michigan dugout starting to get into this ball game just a little bit as Fisher's showing signs of weakness. 2-1 pitch. Lewis bounces it up towards the middle, fielded by Troike. Goes to second for 1. The relay throw to first in time. Double play, exactly what Fisher wanted.
Well, obviously a double play isn't what the Wolverines want in this situation. However, they do have yet another run on the board, and they have a runner on third base with Blake Nelson coming up.
So just like that, we go from bases loaded and nobody out to runner on third, 2 outs. Blake Nelson at the plate. Michigan does scratch across a run, but you really want to put up a big number. And the double play puts a big hamper on that one. It's only 10-2 now. Nelson takes the first pitch of this at-bat from Fisher high and away for a ball, 1-0. Nelson struggling today against Fisher, as have most of the batters in the Wolverine lineup. He's 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts looking. 1-0 pitch, misses inside for ball 2. Fly ball will not get that running from third here with 2 gone in the inning. And a swing and a miss there at a pitch that's bearing down low and in on him. Puts Nelson in a 2-1 count now. Nelson has a very low crouch in the right-handed batter's box, just about rests the bat on his right-hand shoulder. And he ropes one down the third base line, just foul, according to third base umpire Danny Jimenez.
I don't know about that. I thought I saw it bounce fair. Maybe it took a bounce off the base, but either way, it is 2-2.
Nick Schnabel, third base coach for the Wolverines, looked like he was asking Danny Jimenez about it just a second there, asking his batter at third base, Franklin, also if he was able to see and get a good vantage point at where that ball was. No lengthy arguments, though, as we settle in for a 2-2 pitch. Nelson takes a breaking ball that never broke and stayed outside. Counts full, 3-2. The third time in this inning, Fisher's gone to a 3-ball count after going to 3 the entire previous 6 innings. He comes set, the payoff pitch. Foul back to the right side, not a play.
Yes, Fisher has now thrown 20 pitches in this inning, and it's really, I think, something that, number one, he has the room for error to, as a result of the earlier 6 innings, whereas, as I said, well, you were out, he averaged 11 pitches an inning, but it's something that, showing that I think he's perhaps running out of gas.
Comes set for another 3-2 pitch to Nelson. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Nelson's got himself the hat trick in as many at-bats. And that will do it for the inning. So Michigan loads the bases with nobody out, but is only able to scratch across 1 run. So the deficit still sits at 8. The score, Illinois 10, Michigan 2. You're listening to Austin Falco. Sorry, blanked out there for a second. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
And it looks like Angelo Smith is going to go out for a 3rd inning of work. Well, correction, the 3rd inning in which he will pitch. He has only pitched 1 1/3 inning so far. Had to come in and close out that cataclysmic 6th inning in which they gave up 6 runs. But he pitched a solid and scoreless 7th, and now he's going to come out into the 8th.
Miles Lewis will stay in the game for Michigan in right field, and as you mentioned, Angelo Smith staying in the game pitching. Have to imagine if Michigan's able to put a little bit more of a crooked number up on the board there in the bottom of the 7th, maybe head coach Eric Bakich goes to a fresher arm, but at this point, might as well try to save your arms and salvage the series in tomorrow's ball game. The 3 batters up in this inning are the 3 batters that have yet to see Angelo Smith in this ball game. So perhaps after he gets through those 3 guys, head coach Eric Bakich may go make a change, but is content to let Smith get 1 full turn through the Illinois order.
And we'll report another defensive substitute. Looks like Blake Nelson's day is going to be done. Playing at 3rd base now is number 15, Jimmy Kerr.
With the lefty Fisher presumably done and not getting another chance to face that part of the order, head coach Eric Bakich feels fine putting Kerr out there at 3rd. Kerr came into the year as the starting 3rd baseman, but like Miles Lewis, who we talked about last inning, has since been supplanted as Brent Spillane takes the first pitch he sees from Angelo Smith low and in for a ball, 1-0. Winding up, and a 1-0 pitch hits Spillane right on the foot, and he goes down. Might have been the knee, actually. In pain there is Spillane, and he'll try to walk that one off as he takes his base down at first base.
It's always a little bit of a scary moment. I do believe your initial assessment was correct. I do believe it bounced off the top of his foot. That's a very scary thing to see. You know, players, you see in all levels get hit in the lower body, and then they, maybe they limp a little bit to first base, but ultimately they're fine. It's a little scary right there. Spillane appeared to try to jump over the ball and wasn't able to land. Appeared to go down on his back there a little bit. Very scary thing to see, but luckily for him, looks like he's gotten up and looks like he's going to be able to play on, and he is now leading off on first base.
Spillane does indeed remain in the game as a high fastball there almost hits the head of Michael Massey. He ducks out of the way, and the count's 1-0 on him as well. It's going to warrant a mound visit from Harrison Salter.
Yeah, it's probably for the best as you see a couple more players coming out of the indoor practice facility. That's not really a long mound meeting is necessary, and it wasn't, as Salter jogs back to the plate right now. But it's got obviously a little wild right now. Hits the right-handed Spillane almost in the foot, almost hits the left-handed Massey in the head. Just got to calm him down and work a little more on his location.
1-0 pitch. Popped up behind the plate. Going back near the screen is Salter, but he runs out of room as that one gets into the stands. And the count's 1-1 now. looked for a second off the bat like Salter was going to have a shot at that ball, and he gave it the good old try over there, getting back all the way to the screen directly behind the plate before it bounced maybe 7 rows up. Angelo Smith not ready for a 1-1 pitch. There's a breaking ball that has Massey way out in front. He bounces it over near the Illinois dugout. The count's 1-2 now. Massey, the lefty, facing the lefty Smith. He struck out against the lefty Dragani 3 times today. And on that one, he check swung and fouled it at the plate. After Spillane was stealing, he'll have to run back to first base, and we'll try another 1-2 pitch in just a second.
Another situation in which Spillane starts running during a pitch in a 2-strike count, and the hitter swings. But very interesting to see right there, and Spillane really demonstrates that he does have a fair amount of speed there on the base paths.
Okay, he looked like he would have had that bag stolen if that ball was not tipped at the plate. Smith tries to paint the black on the outside corner with the fastball, but misses wide. So the count's even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Smith now coming set, glove at the chest. 2-2. Hit high in the air. This one Salter should have a play on, or rather Angelo Smith now calling off and making the play. Not something you see every day, a pop out to the pitcher. Normally a fielder comes and calls him off of that one, but Smith handled himself.
I'd say it's even rarer that a pitcher. It's rare that a pitcher finds himself in that situation. Even rarer that he waves off the catcher and the third baseman to make that play, put his body out there on the line. But had he dropped that, people would be hearing about it. Well, he dropped that, probably call infield fly, but he drops that, they'd be hearing about it. But good work there to acquit himself there and get that first out.
So Michael Mahalik now comes up to the plate. Spillane's running on the pitch. The pitch is low for a ball to throw on the second.
He's out.
In time. It looked like Akeo Thomas might have whiffed on the tag there for a second, but second base umpire Bob Lethian was on the call. And a caught stealing there for Spillane, his 8th time this season. He's now just 14 for 22 on stolen base attempts this year. Nice strong throw there by Salter. Gets the second out of the inning.
Yeah, excellent throw, well placed. Spillane wasn't exactly jogging. He was doing full sprinting with his height, 6'5". That's a fair stride. That's pretty good, pretty decent speed, but placed perfectly. Akeo Thomas, excellent play there. Caught it while he was spinning the other way, and momentum carried him. Glove right there, tap Spillane on the toe and get that second out.
Second pitch of the at-bat to Mahalik, catches the inside corner with the fastball and evens count at 1-1. On 1-1, Smith tries a breaking ball. It doesn't break far enough down into the strike zone. Crowd not agreeing with it as you hear the oohs and ahs on that one. And the count's 1-2. Now winding up, 2-1 pitch, breaking ball, gets a swing and a miss there.
That's
2-2.
That's about as bad a swing as you'll ever see. Looks like he's trying to low, and then he tried to hold up, but ultimately a very, very weak swing that I wouldn't even say got past his numbers, even though the bat did go around.
Winding up, 2-2 pitch now from Smith. High fastball, ball 3. Mahalik working another 3-ball count for the 4th time in 5 plate appearances today. And he is rewarded by getting clipped on the back of the calf. And he'll make his way down with a hit by pitch.
I think that's really one thing Angelo Smith has struggled with on the season, and really both Dragani and Renard struggled this to a certain extent. The game is location is horizontal placement. Both they're throwing batters. They're clipping batters on the back. They're throwing behind batters. That's something you never want to see, especially for Smith. He threw that behind a right-handed hitter, and he's a left-handed sidearm pitcher. So you realize that he guided that ball way back inside.
The first pitch of the at-bat here to Doran Turchin is bounced towards third. Jimmy Kerr gets his first opportunity, and he takes advantage of it. fields, throws to first in time to end the inning. So despite a couple of hit by pitches, Angelo Smith gets out of the inning without any more Illini runners coming across the plate. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. The score is still an 8-run deficit for Michigan. It's 10-2 Illini. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Austin Falco with Nick Hornberg. Finishing off this one, we'll be here for tomorrow's action as well. As the sky is starting to brighten up now. Perhaps a sign of things to come for tomorrow's game.
It's good. I haven't seen the sun since Thursday.
Sure seems like it at the very least, yeah. You know, yesterday's ball game was just miserable all day long. As much as it was raining pretty much the entire game, it was just a matter of how hard is it raining. So when it got almost to drizzle-like levels, it basically felt like, hey, it's 70 and sunny out here, but not quite. Tomorrow, hopefully. Have to get the forecast to check again here. It's the last time I looked at it, but cross your fingers. Hopefully we get something good. Looks to be around 70 tomorrow. They're calling for some rain, but that's not really a surprise at this point. Around game time, though, around 60 and partly sunny, so we'll cross our fingers and hope for that. They finish off the season on a high note weather-wise, and Michigan will look to finish off the season on a high note in their final game. The final series looks like it's not going to go their way.
Well, and let's see if I can get this this report right this time. But the Illini, Andy Fisher's day is done, and it looks like his replacement is going to be two-way player, sophomore outfielder / right-handed pitcher in this situation, right-handed pitcher number 22, Cirillo Watson.
It is indeed Cirillo Watson coming into the ball game today. Watson, the sophomore righty out of Cudahy, Wisconsin via South Milwaukee. And making his 7th appearance on the year. 5 of his previous appearances were starts. Has a 4.08 ERA. He's 1-1 in 17 2/3 innings pitched. Struck out 12, walked 11. Opponents hitting a bit of a lofty 347 against him. First man that faces him will be Harrison Salter, and first pitch is fouled right back off the mask of home plate umpire Mike Morris. He stumbles back, and he's going to get a second to regroup as the catcher Cran goes out to the mound.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a scary moment right there, but the day officially done for Andy Fisher. He threw in start 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. As you said, a little bit of an anomaly considering his reputation as a little bit of a ground ball pitcher. 1 wild pitch, 2 hit batters, 89 pitches, 53 of them strikes. His ERA dropped 18 points to 4.18. Really, really not much more than what the Illini could ask for.
Second pitch, the at-bat is also fouled off by Salter. He fouls it off to the right side out of play. And yeah, as you mentioned, Illini have gotten absolutely excellent starting pitching in this series. Quinn Snarskus yesterday, Andy Fisher today. They'll try to keep it going in tomorrow's ball game when they send Ty Weber to the mound against Carl Kaufman for Michigan. The 0-2 pitch to Salter is fouled off to the right side. He's able to stay alive at 0-2. Salter recorded the first hit of the ball game for the Wolverines back in the bottom of the 6th inning. It was a double down the right field line, in which he came around to score one of just 2 Michigan runs today. And he takes a called strike 3 on a fastball at the belt. He does not seem to agree at all.
Yeah, Salter does not like that.
But regardless, he'll head back to the dugout and turn things over to Jack Blomgren, the number 9 hitter, the shortstop for Michigan. Blomgren 0 for 1 in the ball game. He grounded out to third back in the 3rd. Also reached on a hit by pitch in the 6th. First pitch he sees as Watson is hit high and deep towards right center field. Ranging back is Taylor, but he'll have plenty of room in front of the track to make the grab. Good swing of the bat there from Blomgren, and maybe one of the hardest, if not farthest, hit balls for the Wolverines today. Results in the glove of Taylor, and it's out number 2.
Do you believe that's the second hardest hit, and farthest hit ball of Jack Blomgren's season, with the exception being the 1 home run he has hit?
Hasn't shown a ton of power yet, has the freshman, but continues to start out there at shortstop because of the fantastic defensive abilities that we saw on display earlier on with a nice barehanded play. His middle infield mate, Akeo Thomas, now comes up to the plate for his 4th time in the ball game. Takes the first pitch low as it bounces off of Cran all the way over to the Michigan dugout. Gave it the old backhanded try, and it flipped away. Counts 1-0. Thomas 0 for 3 on the ball game today. All ground outs. As he watches this one miss high, it's 2-0. He's grounded out to short twice and the second once. Does have himself an RBI, though, on his latest ground out in the 6th. It was the first run Michigan scored in the game. 2-0 pitch. Catches the outside corner. Looked a bit high, a bit outside to me, but the count's 2-1. Working quickly and winding up is Watson. He fires a pitch that misses inside as K.O. Thomas dances out of the way, and it's 3-1. Mentioned Thomas drove in the first run of the game for Michigan. They were only able to tack on one more. They sit at 2. Meanwhile, the Illini sit at 10. A ball game that's felt like it was just about over since the 6th inning. This is a chopper over to third, the only place on the infield K.O. Thomas has not grounded out yet, besides over to first. And then Skoy Fields throws to first and retires Thomas for the 4th time in the ball game today. So it looks like Thomas will not start a new on-base streak here, or rather extend a new on-base streak here. He goes down, and the Wolverines go down in order in the 8th. We'll head to the 9th inning. Illinois still leads 10-2 over the Michigan Wolverines on the official student radio broadcast for the Michigan Wolverine baseball team here on WCBN Sports.
Well, and Eric Bakich sending out the 4th and likely final pitcher for the Wolverines today to close out this game, number 14 sophomore lefty Benjamin Kaiser.
Kaiser, the redshirt sophomore left-hander, as you mentioned, out of Portage, Michigan. He'll be making his 7th appearance on the year. The numbers not too favorable for him in this one. He has a 16.20 ERA. He's only pitched 5 innings, though, so very swayed. In those 5 innings of work, though, the numbers do not favor him at all. 5 strikeouts, but 10 walks. He's given up 15 runs, only 9 of them earned. Opponents hit .458 against the lefty so far this season. A rough start to the season for Kaiser. So we talk about when you get into a ball game like this, just looking for positives. If Kaiser could put together a solid outing here, it could be something to move forward with for the Wolverines going into the last stretch of season here, the last weekend series, and yet tomorrow's ball game as well.
That's the current situation they're in. This is perhaps the definition of a low-leverage situation. Kaiser, of course, had a rough season. This is good management there by Bakich. Get struggling pitchers out there late in these games when you think the game is essentially lost. Maybe some people don't like this just because, you know, a game isn't over until it's over. But in this case, it's good. Get a pitcher out there, get him throwing. As we've said, Kaiser only thrown 5 innings all season. Get out there, get him throwing, get him in a groove, and hopefully help his confidence for the remainder of the season.
So Kaiser gets the 9th inning here for the Wolverines. Trailing by 8, he'll get the bottom third of the order, starting with Jack Yalowitz. Lefty against lefty. Kaiser fires high and inside. The count's 1-0. Yalowitz just 1 for 2 in the ballgame today, despite now stepping up for the 5th time. 1-0 pitch misses low and away. 2-0. Has himself a double and a run scored, along with a walk and a stolen base, rounding out the stat sheet. Kaiser winds up at a 2-0 pitch. Just misses low, it looks like. The count's 3-0. Crowd not happy with that one. Deep breath from Kaiser on the mound. 3-0 pitch. Catches the outside corner. It's 3-1 now. (3-1) on the way. Swung on and swung early there did Yalowitz. He bounces one over the barrier wall near the Illinois dugout. And the count's full, 3-2 now. Kaiser with the chance to put away the first batter he sees. 3-2 pitch. Swung on late and fouled off to the left side, out of play. Just missing a car parked next to Yost.
Ooh, I don't think it missed.
And the count is full now. Kaiser winds up again for another 3-2 pitch. It's reached out and poked towards third. Kerr makes the play, fires a strong throw to first in time to retire Yalowitz. One away in the ninth.
Well, these Illini hitters still not giving up, obviously. Workday. Yalowitz is the second weakest hitter in the lineup, average-wise, only hitting .213, and that's with going 1 for 3 today. Still battling, worked a full count, fouled off another one. That's a 7-pitch at-bat to start Kaiser's day.
He'll turn it over to Grant Van Scoy now. Takes the first pitch, fastball strike. Van Scoy 3 for 4, 5 RBIs, including a home run, 2 runs scored, but did strike out in his last at-bat back in the 7th. He hits this one high in the air towards center field. Engelman ranges back, but he'll make the play in medium to deep center field, just about straight away center field, for out number 2.
Good recovery there by Kaiser. Follow up a 7-pitch at-bat with a 2-pitch at-bat, and is able to do what Ben Dragani and Alec Renard were not able to do, and that is retire Grant Van Scoy.
So David Cran now, the 9-hitter and catcher for Illinois today, steps up to the plate. Takes the first pitch from Kaiser for a strike 0-1. Cran 1 for 3 of the ball game today with a single and a run scored. The right-handed batter waits the 0-1 from the left-handed throwing Kaiser. It's a strike. Counts 0-2. So after going 3-0 on Yalowitz to start things, he's thrown nothing but strikes. Last now 7 pitches, all strikes from Kaiser. Make it 8 now as it's a line drive that's dropped by Franklin for a second over at first base, but he scoops it up and goes to first to record out number 3 unassisted. So 1-2-3 inning there from Benjamin Kaiser. We talked about looking for positives in this ball game. There's one for you. The young redshirt sophomore lefty looking good there in that 9th inning. So we'll go back to the bottom of the 9th now. The Wolverines, just like they were yesterday, essentially hoping for a miracle going into the bottom 9th. The exact same score, 10-2 in favor of the Illini.
Yes, for what it's worth, the strongest part of the Wolverines lineup is coming up with Clemente, Engelman, and Jesse Franklin. And Cirillo Watson going back out there to try and finish this game. Obviously, he threw the first pitch. He threw the 8th. 1-2-3 inning, 10 pitches, 1 strikeout, and now it looks like the Illini are just getting loose there in the outfield. They're ready to go back to the hotel tonight.
Yeah, they did their work early on in this one. Bit of a recap for you. Illinois struck first in the 2nd inning with a 2-run homer by Grant Van Scoy. It was Van Scoy who struck again in the 4th with a 2-run single. And then the Illini really poured it on in the 6th. Van Scoy added an RBI single, a 3-run homer in there by Zach Taylor, and what ended up being a 6th-run, 6th inning. They put Illinois out 10-0 at the time. Michigan was able to scratch across their first hit and their first run finally in the bottom of the 6th inning and put one more on the board in the bottom of the 7th. And no scoring since then as the score sits at Illinois 10, Michigan 2. In yesterday's ball game, there was a bit of a rally in the bottom of the 9th for Michigan. They were able to push across a run, had a few hits, worked some good at-bats. They'll have to do better than they did yesterday, though. We'll start off with Dominic Clemente. Clemente gets his first look at Cirillo Watson out there. Watson holds the glove above his face. Now winds up and fires a pitch low to Clemente. The count's 1-0. Clemente 0 for 3 in the ball game today. Ground out, strikeout, ground out again. 1-0 pitch to him. Hit high in the air towards deep left field. Ranging back is Turchin near the wall. He's going to look up, and it's off the big brick wall. Clementi's going to try to hustle into second. The throw there, though, safe. He gets his hand in before the tag of Massey. Hustle double off the very top of that brick wall. And a good start to the bottom of the ninth here. Leadoff double for Dominic Clementi.
You know, it's funny. You'd think that wall would help a lot with bounces on the in regard to getting extra bases, but no, that bounced right to left fielder Turchin, who was actually in very good position, and nearly pegged to Clementi out there. Which, if that's a shorter wall, if that's a home run.
And Turchin, as you mentioned, played it perfectly. He knew he wasn't able to get that ball before running into the wall, so he didn't even try getting back and then trying to readjust. He just turned around and waited for a bounce, and happened to be in the exact spot he needed to be. So now Jonathan Engelman comes up with the runner in scoring position, takes a breaking ball strike from Watson to begin this at-bat. It's 0-1. Engelman 0 for 2 on the day with a walk and a run scored back in the 7th. He started the flurry of Wolverine base runners that resulted in the bases loaded, nobody out situation. And fortunately, the Wolverines only able to score 1 out of that. Takes the 0-1 pitch, fastball outside. It's 1-1. Engelman second on the Wolverines in RBIs with 42. Potentially has number 43 out there on second in the form of Dominic Clementi. 1-1 pitch. Called strike 2 at the knees. In danger of going down on strikes for the second time today is Engelman now. Meanwhile, Watson wants to rack up his second strikeout of the day, coming in to start the 8th. He struck out the first batter you saw in Salter. He's ahead on Engelman here. 1-2 pitch upcoming. Swung on and hit high and deep towards left field again. Turchin's going to go back to the track near the wall. Off the top of the wall. Not even the tall wall this time for Engelman. Turchin has to field that out of bounds. It's going to be an RBI double there as he switches places with Clementi and drives in the Wolverines' 3rd run of the ball game now. It's 10-3.
Well, the Wolverines once again looking to finish a game strong, and once again, I suppose it's good to ask that you know, these is good solid contact, getting good distance. Where was that? Maybe it's just with the weather improving so far these last few innings, but well, marginally. There's a little bit of light, but you know, where was this in the first inning or two? It has really been the story. The Wolverines have started slow. Really, I'd say this series definitely, and I'd say even the previous series or two before that.
With a couple of hard hit balls, some stirring going on down the right field line for the Illinois bullpen. With Jesse Franklin coming up to the plate. Franklin 1 for 3, or rather 1 for 2 in the ball game, with a double in his last at bat in the 7th. He watches ball 1 miss outside from Watson. The count's 1-0. Watson now working out of the stretch as he was against Engelman. Looks back at Engelman, and now Franklin's one high and deep towards right field. Going back near the track at the wall is Yalowitz. He leaps up and makes the grab on the track. Engelman tags up and moves to 3rd, but another ball that was absolutely tagged by Jesse Franklin goes for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, that's 3 straight balls to the wall, and that's actually quite interesting. Good. I'd almost say good recovery by Clementi, Engelman, and Franklin from what had been poor games for them all game, and now Jordan Wogu's up 1 out and a runner on 3rd.
1 out big, though, and still a 7-run ball game. That could have been the 3rd straight double, if not for a very athletic leaping grab from Yalowitz on the warning track just shy of the right field wall. Jordan Wogu will look to keep the hard contact going, but he takes strike 1 right down the pipe. It's 0-1. Wogu 0 for 2 today with a walk. 0-1 pitch. At the knee, strike 2. Wogu's other 2 plate appearances besides the walk were both ground outs, or rather a ground out and a fielder's choice that was hit on the ground. So hasn't quite been able to get the elevation on the ball and show his power off. He does get elevation here and pops it up down the right field line, giving chase as the first baseman Spillane. He runs over near the bullpen, but runs out of room. So Wogu will stay alive. Count still 0-2. Should Wogu not somehow hit into a double play here with the runner on third and one gone, it will be Miles Lewis who will get his second hack of the ball game. Coming set now is Watson. Another 0-2 pitch to Wogu. High fastball taken for ball one. Saw this last at bat as well. Wogu got down in the count with 2 strikes. Battled off a few tough pitches. Took a few tough pitches. I didn't miss by much and worked a walk. 1-2 pitch to him this time. Swung on, grounded towards short. Troike makes the play, moving towards second base bag. Throws to first and gets Wogu by half a step. Wogu really busting it down the line. He'll get an RBI out of it, but it is out number 2 in the bottom of the 9th inning here. And it doesn't do a whole lot to put a dent in the score. It's 10-4.
Well, now the Wolverines have at least eclipsed their run output from yesterday, and they've committed one less error with 3. And, of course, all 3 at the beginning of the game. And now Miles Lewis is going to flip over to hit on the hit from the left against Watson, excuse me, and hoping not to be the last batter of the game.
He watches his first pitch from Watson bounce well in front of the plate for ball one. As you mentioned, Lewis replacing Christian Bullock earlier in the ballgame. Bullock was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. So he went to Lewis, did head coach Eric Bakich in the 7th, who proceeded batting from the right side to ground into a 6-4-3 double play during that bases-loaded threat. So he does not get credit for the RBI on that bases-loaded ground ball double play. Watches the 1-0 pitch miss low and in for a ball 2-0. Batting from the left side for the first time today. Watches the 2-0 pitch miss high. It's 3-0 now. Lewis maybe trying to restart a 2-out rally here in the bottom of the 9th. Michigan down to their final out. Winding up now. The 3-0 pitch misses low and away. Ball 4. So Lewis doesn't take the bat off his shoulder, and he's going to get a base out of it. Turn things over to Jimmy Kerr getting his first plate appearance of the ball game.
Well, Kerr only 170 on the season. However, he does have the platoon advantage over being a lefty against the righty Cirillo Watson.
Kerr replaced Jimmy Nelson, or rather not Jimmy Nelson, Blake Nelson. It's Jimmy Kerr at the plate. He replaced Blake Nelson back there in the 8th inning. Nelson was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Kerr's first plate appearance of the day starts with a called strike on the fastball. As you mentioned, Kerr coming in 170 average. He was the starter at the beginning of the season, has since been supplanted by the likes of Blake Nelson, who for the most part was having a really solid season, just a rough day today. Kerr swings and fouls one back into the glove of Cran for strike 2, and Michigan's down to their final strike now. Watson gets the sign, checks the runner on first. Blaine now not even holding him on. Kerr bounces one to short. This should do it here. Troike flips to second to record the out, and that's the ball game. Illinois comes into Ray Fisher Stadium, has taken the first 2 games of this series in dominating fashion. Today's ball game ending in a score of 10-4.
Yeah, I think now what you're seeing here at the end of this season is perhaps a downside of having a youthful team like Michigan. Really now I think a lot of these players being true or redshirt freshmen aren't used to the strain of a season this long. Obviously the college season is longer than the high school season. And the weather sapping energy throughout this season may have had an effect on this, but now it looks like some of these players are getting tired. They're starting games slower, and now they find themselves, they're going to lose this series against the Illini. They're going to try to salvage on Sunday, but this is a massive hit to their NCAA tournament hopes, really, barring perhaps a sweep against Purdue and some luck with Minnesota's schedule. They really need to make a deep run in the Big Ten tournament, if not win the whole thing, to find themselves in that round of 64.
Undoubtedly a tough loss today, a tough series loss for the Wolverines. Final line score for you, Illinois 10 runs on 11 hits, did not commit an error. Michigan 4 runs on just 4 hits, committed 3 errors. The starting pitchers are the pitchers of record. Andy Fisher gets the win, moves to 5-2. Ben Dragani takes the loss, his first loss of the season, and drops down to 6-1. That puts Michigan at 14-5 in the Big Ten. Illinois moves up to 13-7. It should be a good race towards the end of the Big Ten season, but we'll continue that race tomorrow. Again, game time starts at noon Eastern for a Mother's Day game here at Ray Fisher Stadium, the last day here at Ray Fisher Stadium for the Wolverines this season. For today, though, again, final score, Illinois 10, Michigan 4. Thank you for listening in. I've been Austin Falco. This has been Nick Hornberg. We wish you, as always, a good night and a Go Blue.